Your scheduled event will start shortly. Please stay tuned. Enjoying the music? All content you're currently listening to was produced by Amazon's Audio Studios team. Stay tuned for your scheduled event. Want to host your own event? Create your meeting experience today at meetings.amazon.com. Thank you for your patience. Your event will begin soon.
Everyone, may I please request all of you to settle down? We'll be beginning in another 2 minutes. And to just check the energy of the room, can I get a loud woo from the women? And it's in Friday, so extra woo! Come on, tomorrow, day after, both day holidays. I'm sure you're not working weekends, right? So, let's do a quick exercise before we are going live, maybe in a couple of seconds. So, to the people on my left, you would say power, and then to the people on my right would say women. Power. Woman. Just give it 3 times loud from your heart. Power. Woman. Power. Woman. We need more than this energy today, right? I think I'm going to have to do a good job. So we are gonna live now.
All right, we try that again. Mic check. Can you hear me? Let's try that again. Mic check. Thumbs up. Are we audible? Great. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Everybody at the back. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to the second edition of Amazon ElevateHER 2026. I'm Madhulika, and I'm thrilled to be with you here today. I'm a Learning and Development Manager for Global Talent Acquisition, APAC, and I'm joined by my wonderful co-host, Vibhuti.
Thank you, Madhulika. I'm Vibhuti Mangal. I'm IT Manager for OTS. So if you're based out of India or go out of India for shopping, I am the one who makes sure your packages get delivered to the nearest locus and they are serviceable at all times. So if they don't work, feel free to blame me directly. So I'm truly excited to be your co-host today on ElevateHER, and I do see a few men. And I thank you so much, because women empowerment is when we stand together. Thank you so much.
So whether you're joining us live here from Bangalore, you lovely people, or streaming virtually through different cities across India, you're here for a very special reason. We've got, just look at this room. We've got current and aspiring Amazonians, we've got inspiring leaders, we've got change makers, all gathered under one roof to serve one purpose, which is to amplify the voices of women. And we're not just talking about a few voices, we're talking about hundreds.
And we have exciting things in store for you, a lot of them. Just keep waiting. But didn't you say you had something really nice for me before we go ahead?
I did. I have something very special. So I got hold of these fortune cookies last night. Obviously I've consumed the cookies, they're no longer there. But what I did do is I gathered the tellings, the fortune tellings, and I thought I'll bring them here.
Nice.
And they were not just any fortune cookies, they're special career ElevateHER fortune cookies. So this is how it's going to work. We'll read out the tellings, and if it's a hard relate, I want you to give a loud cheer. Okay? Should we practice the cheer once? Let's go.
If you relate to the cookie, you need to shout, right?
All right, let's get going.
We really worked on hard on this. Come on, guys.
It's the cookies. All right, I'll go with the first one. The first telling says, success is right around the corner. But to get there, you just have to go through the other 40 business reviews that you've lined up for the week.
So true.
We've all been there. Do you want to read
I
the
think
other
I'm
one?
going to pick up the next one. So, your dream job awaits. But first, you got to stop pretending you know what the word synergy really means.
That's true. All right. I'll go with the next one.
Yes.
If you relate to this, please give a loud cheer. You will achieve work-life balance.
In your next life, Madhulika.
Whoa, that got a really loud cheer. We've all been there. All right, I'll give you one last one before we kick us off. Your network will expand once you stop hiding in the bathroom awkwardly at every networking event.
So true.
We've got to change that up today, right? Okay, we all laugh because, we all relate to it at some point, right? The awkward networking events, that struggle to make time for yourself, that imposter syndrome feeling that we've got, Googling how to negotiate for a higher salary. I've done that. I'm fairly certain some of you might have done that as well. But we're all still here today. And I promise you, in the course of the day, you'll only realize that we're all in the same boat. We're all just trying to figure it out. right? So the opportunities that you seek are right here in this room with the people sitting beside you and with that conversation that hopefully you'll kick off today.
And before we begin, just a quick housekeeping note. Throughout the day, we'll have amazing external speakers, celebrity guests. So we request your support in maintaining the decorum as they move in and out of the space. Thank you.
Thank you, Vibhuti. And now to officially kick us off and walk you through today's agenda, I'm going to welcome a special someone whose life motto is, the more impossible a problem seems, the more determined I am to solve it. And trust me, she's proven this over and over again at her decade here at Amazon. Please welcome Gitanjali Bhutani, Director, Software Development, Amazon. Gitanjali is an exec sponsor for women at Amazon Chapter and Gender Council. A passionate advocate for women in technology, she actively mentors women's technologists, early career engineers and interns, helping them navigate the fast-evolving tech landscape. Gitanjali completed a bachelor's in engineering from Bangalore University as a triple gold medalist and topper. Talk about high achiever. She also holds a master's in science and PhD from BITS Pilani. Lovely to have you here, Gitanjali.
Thank you so much, and thank you for kicking us off with so much energy. Okay, so they made you do a good morning. It's like my tradition that when I come onto stage, I have to make all of you do a good, resounding good morning. So good morning, everyone. Good morning. If we're going to have to elevate her, we're going to have to be louder and more powerful than this. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to ElevateHER 2026. To everyone who's here in Bagmane in person, and to everyone who's joining us virtually on Livestream from across India, thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us for one more instance of ElevateHER. This time with the theme, Give to Gain, Investing in Women, Multiplying Impact. The belief that when we invest intentionally in women, through opportunity, sponsorship, access, and enablement, the returns don't just stay with one person. They ripple outward, strengthening leadership pipelines, communities, and long-term outcomes that we build together for our future. Now you may ask me, what does invest in women really mean? So let me start with a short personal story about what I think invest means. So at the age of 18, I was, like all of you, big dreams in my eyes. Big dreams in my eyes. And I didn't manage to get into the college of my dreams, right? So, like anybody else, I was really devastated, heartbroken, underconfident, and almost believed that I was incapable of achieving anything good at all, right? And back then, it was an easy option for my parents. It was not just my hopes going away, it was also some of the plans that my parents had for their future, how they were going to retire, what they were going to be, and so on and so forth. So I saw all of that crushed in one shot. And my parents had this choice. Remember, I come from a generation, I don't like to admit that I'm old, but I come from a generation when engineering classes still had less than 20% women, right? So my parents had a very easy option. They could tell me that, you know what, just graduate and then we'll figure out your future. And that was what was happening to a lot of women around me. Their parents were telling them, do some course, then you figure out what you want to do after marriage. Some of them were even getting married at that time. But here was my father. He only said, so what if you didn't get into this college? We'll get into the next best one. And you don't have to worry about what happens to plans. You don't worry about how we'll make it happen. You just go out there, achieve your dreams, do what you're best at, and I'm standing right beside you. Now that is investment, right? And that 18-year-old is standing here today, older, wiser, and so much more. That's what investment really is. It's not a special program, not a special sponsorship, right? It is about as simple as somebody standing with you, egging you on. At work, it is that manager who says, you're ready for this. at a colleague who passes your name into a room when you're not there. And finally, a leader who creates a seat for you on that table, even when you don't believe you should have that seat. These moments are small, very deliberate, and human. And this is what changes careers and changes lives. Remember those small, deliberate acts that we do for a woman? They don't go unnoticed, right? All of us here, when somebody is invested in us, we've given it to the world with both hands. And that's what this really is. A woman who has received this investment is going to multiply it. She's going to pass it on to the next generations. Investing, giving women a seat at the table, championing for somebody who really needs it, that's going to become part of her behavior because of that one tiny action earlier in her life. And that is why at Amazon, we truly believe in investing in women. And it's not just symbolic investment, not a sign on a wall. It's actually strategic investments through dedicated mechanisms that are going to create durable impact. In how we make sponsorship intentional rather than accidental. In how we design for flexibility and well-being to enable sustained performance. And in how we review our succession pipelines, our talent pipelines, and in how we approach leadership development. Because lasting change does not come from isolated moments of I support you. It comes from systems that consistently expand access and opportunity. At Amazon, like many of you would have seen, we believe in building a culture that is welcoming and inclusive. Because we believe that that's what enables people to deliver what they're best at, and it is essential also for what we want to achieve as a company. So it's not just a value we put on a wall, like I said. We make this choice every single day. Every time we hire somebody, every time we choose to sponsor somebody, every time we choose to promote somebody or develop a leader, and finally, in every time we choose to bring people into this room. This event, ElevateHER, this initiative, was really born from this belief. When we invest intentionally in opportunity, in access, in each other, the returns are not just individual. They multiply across not just this company, across countries and communities and generations. Now, a question that I've been asked, and a lot of times I've asked this myself when sitting in these forums, right? When we talk about focused sponsorship or leadership capability development, for women, why do we need this targeted effort? Is this about capability? Do we believe women are not capable? Do we believe they don't have the potential? Not at all. This is not about potential, capability, or ambition. It is really about structural reality. We talk about this, we've talked about this several times before, and we will continue to talk about this. Global research, including the most recent Women in the Marketplace study that was conducted by McKinsey, shows that women are often sponsored much lesser than men. And even if we are sponsored, our promotion rates aren't great. This is not potential, and this is not our lack of ambition. This is really patterns of how opportunity flows through organizations. And that's why we build structured sponsorship and development pathways. We're not suggesting for a minute that women need extra help. Quite the contrary. One of us is enough to support 1 million, right? But we're strengthening the system so that opportunity is much more equitably distributed by design. You shouldn't need, 10 years down the line, we shouldn't need to say we have to sponsor women, we have to do targeted effort, because it has to become by design. And this is how Amazon operates in general. For those of you who are here, or for those of you who worked with Amazon, what do? We identify a gap, we build a mechanism, and then we just measure progress. So what are we doing today? In today's agenda, you will hear conversations that will challenge how you have always thought about wellness, resilience, and what it means to perform sustainably in a world that never stops. Somebody earlier was referring to, are you going to work the weekend, right? The world that never stops. How can we sustainably stay there and thrive? We have leaders who will share with you not just their achievements, we read a lot about those, but they're going to share their doubts, their pivots, and the people who truly believed in them even before they believed in themselves. So, give to gain, that is the theme of today. But what does it look like outside the company? Some of you must have heard of Amazon Future Engineer. Show of hands, how many of you have heard of Amazon Future Engineer? More power in the room, this side. Okay, so lots of you have heard of Amazon Future Engineer. This is a program that's really dear to my heart, right? Where every woman that walks into the doors of Amazon from college reminds me of that 18-year-old me. If my dad had chosen not to make that investment in me that day, I don't know where I would have been, and I would surely not have been here, right? Through Amazon Future Engineer, we're investing early, expanding access to computer science education, and building this next generation of women who will shape technology, business, and leadership. Beyond this, looking around here, looking at how we can give to gain, I think about all these women who will walk through the future doors that we still don't know exist. Why? Because one of you decided to build those doors. I think about a leader who will step into a role she didn't think she was ready for. All of us resonate with that, right? But someone in this room said, you are. I think about that entrepreneur who will list her first product on Amazon Saheli because someone in this room decided that a partnership was absolutely worth it. That is the multiplier effect. That is what we are here to set in motion today together. So whether you're here as an Amazonian, as an external partner, professional, a mentor, or just somebody who's still figuring out what you want to do, remember, you belong in this room. And finally, before I open it up for all the excitement of today, I'm going to leave you with one thought. All of us are here because somebody invested in us, the small, deliberate action. Somebody invested in us. You owe it to your next generation, your daughters, nieces, sisters, cousins, anybody, to open that next door for them. And by the time it is their turn, they should have the entire community opening doors for them and not just one tiny action, right? So all of us today are here today. We're going to give to the future of the world. We're going to give so that the future of the world can gain. With that, welcome to ElevateHER 2026. I hope you have a brilliant day today. Thank you.
Hello? Can I get the mic, please? All right. Gitanjali, thank you so much. I'd like to invite you back on stage, if you will. We have a small token of appreciation to give to you.
They say experience is a great teacher. We all have witnessed that today. Clarity, wisdom, courage, leadership. Thank you so much, Gitanjali, for showing us the way forward.
Thank you.
You know, listening to all this, I had a small realization. Every woman here probably woke up in different soundtracks. Some days it's, Aaj main upar, Aasmaan neeche, like feeling unstoppable, calendar is full, courage is high, you are on top of your energy.
And then there are those days.
Yeah, some days it's, Dil to bacha hai ji, like you're in senior leadership positions, but still second guessing that last mail you sent yesterday night at 11:47. Did I do that right?
And then there are those days.
Oh yes, full of energy. Kar har maidan fatah. Like you're handling emotions, deadline, kids, family, everybody's expectations. And you know what? Some days I'm confused. Which of these versions I am before 10?
I think we're all of them, aren't we?
Exactly. I think that's the point. Women are not one-note leaders. We are everything. Intuition, sensitivity, right? We handle multiple roles, warrior, nurture, and often before breakfast. And that's why International Women's Day isn't about putting women on a pedestal. It is about building systems that understand and support this complexity.
Very true, because ambition shouldn't require shape-shifting.
Very true, very true. So quick room check. How many of you have stayed longer in a job because you could relate to a woman leader? See, I see a couple of hands raised because representation matters. It's not symbolic, it gives you stability. And how many of you have ever been called too emotional, too strong, too independent, too, loud, too opinionated? See, so many hands. That just means you were never meant to be small.
And today isn't just about celebration.
It's about moving from inspiration to information, from celebration to commitment. On this note, I would like to welcome Women at Amazon India chapter, employee-led group leaders Pallavi Singh, Senior Manager Retention and Payments India Prime. With over 15 years of experience building and scaling consumer businesses, Pallavi has led several high-impact initiatives, including expanding the home and kitchen category and building the global service provider network that enables small businesses to launch and grow across more than 20 countries. She is passionate about mentoring and building inclusive workplaces and is the business sponsor for women at Amazon India. I would also like to welcome Snigdha Ghosh, Senior Program Manager, Amazon India Supply Chain. She has worked across industries from telecom, customer service, and outsourcing with 20 years of overall experience in business transformation and service excellence domains. She also leads the Women at Amazon India chapter. I request you to please join us on stage, Pallavi and Snigdha, and walk us through the impact so far and the bold vision ahead. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. A very good morning. It's wonderful to see everybody gathering together today for an event which is not just a reminder of why it is important to celebrate women, but also for the fact that it's important to accelerate actions and to create empowerment. So thank you so much for being here today. As you've heard, I am Pallavi Singh. I'm the business sponsor for Women at Amazon India. And with me is Snigdha Ghosh. She's the India chapter lead and the powerhouse behind this entire affinity group. She's the reason why the community thrives and sticks together. So big round of applause for her before we get started. Thank you, Snigdha. We're here to quickly talk about what is Amazon, Women at Amazon India Affinity Group, what it does. But before I get into it and get started with it, I do want to share with you a moment that stayed with me. And this was during one, in fact, after one of the one-to-many mentoring sessions, which was conducted by Women at Amazon India. This was one young employee walking up to us after the mentoring session and saying something very simple. She walked up to us and said that, hey, I didn't know that I needed this space so much until today. What she meant was not about a very large program or any policy. What she said was pretty simple. She was talking about mentorship. She was talking about conversation. She was talking about a group of people sitting together and invested in her succeeding. And that moment helped us reflect back on why such communities and affinity groups exist. Because often, the difference between somebody staying silent and somebody stepping up and moving forward is the feeling that they belong. And that's why communities and affinity groups like Women at Amazon India really step in and help. Women at Amazon India is an employee-led affinity group which has steadily and very powerfully helped create an inclusive environment through various initiatives across engagement, across retention, across career advancement, allyship. Over to you, Snigdha, to talk more about it.
Thank you, Pallavi. Good morning, everyone. Glad to be part of today's event, and thank you for joining us, and thank you for making the event more inclusive. So, in terms of, let's go back to 2020 when the Women at Amazon India was born. And there was a group of 3 to 4 people across few cities, and the team asked a hard question that, what does it take for Amazon to be one step closer to be a more inclusive organization for women? And that question became our North Star. That question led us to the Women at India chapter formation, where we believed that everybody can contribute towards women's success and advancement. So Women at Amazon India was born not as a policy or not as a program, but it was born with passion, because we thought that inclusion is deliberate and intentional. So this small group thought that, believed that inclusion is rooted and each one of us can make a difference. And that's where our mission to drive a positive impact for women employees in Amazon India through engagement, career advancement, networking, and allyship was born. And what we did that throughout the year, we ensured that we focus and we stand for our key 5 pillars, which is collective action and shared ownership for driving women's equality, forging a workplace that is diverse, equitable, and inclusive, creating awareness on the systemic barriers that women face, and investing in women through mentorship, advocacy, and allyship. And inclusion extends with women across all groups and intersectionalities. It could be women with disabilities, women from LGBTQAI community, single parents, across sections. So that's what we stand for. And we ensure that we stay close to these 5 principles, keep working around throughout the year to ensure that we have the dialogues, we call the stereotypes out, we call the biases, and celebrate women's success. What we also look at, what I would want to highlight in terms of what we do as women at Amazon India. So if we look at what we do, we organize leadership sessions, we do webinars, mentorships, roundtables, and multiple such forums where we can bring networking with peers, we can bring advocacy and allyship for women. Now let's talk about 2025, right? We started with International Women's Day and Women's History Month, where we organized multiple events through our partner teams. Now we have women at chapters across business verticals, from supply chain, women in finance, AWS, and multiple teams. So what we did was, during the Women's History Month, we hosted a powerful lineup of initiatives, including our Women at Amazon flagship event, fireside chat with leaders, and sessions with industry experts, India Benefits team, to highlight women's stories, sheroes, and activating the women-related pages and entrepreneurs in our app through the India marketing team, and some social events like Queens of Golf to educate on how women faces biases and how we can bring advocacy, which was organized by Last Mile Quality and Analytics team. So that's something that we continued doing 2025. Over to you, Pallavi.
I think very important things, that this affinity group puts together. What I want to highlight is that this journey started with 8 employees coming together, 8 passionate ones that really wanted to do something by coming together. Today, it stands at 200 employees across India as a volunteer group who do these things, and mind you, do these things outside their day job. So both, I think, Snigdha and of course me, we have a day job at Amazon, but of course, these are all things that, passion drives, and all of us come together to do these things. This has now extended to various chapters within Amazon. So there are teams which are thriving. For example, there's something called as WinOps, which is Women in Operations. There are certain, affinity groups which are within different seller organizations, small businesses organization. There's something called as Wiki, which is Women in Kindle. And my personal favorite, which is Women in Finance. Any guesses what it is, what the short form of that is? Wi-Fi, right? So there are many such groups which have come together and formed, and we run all of these events and programs under it. And as Snigdha spoke about the 2026, that we'll continue and double down during this phase on all the networking events, allyship events that we do. One important thing that I want to talk about is that the workplace around us is changing right now. And I think AI is at the center of it. The revolution of AI is true. The important question that we all should ask is not what AI can do. It is about who gets to shape it. And it is important that this as a group makes AI and technology as well inclusive, because building faster is not the only mission. Building it inclusively is also a mission. That I think is something that Amazon, Women at Amazon India stands for, and we will inculcate in all our programs. It will also help us accelerate a lot of our remote programs that we run, acceleration around trainings, around mentoring programs, where we will plug in AI and acceleration. So that's something that we're really super excited about plugging into 2026.
Absolutely. And like in 2025, through our year-round sessions, roundtables, mentorship sessions, we had 11,000 plus participations with 90% plus satisfaction scores, and we want to double down on it along with, we will continue this, all our pillars and focus areas, and we will also build in new networking and roundtable aspects. Now, while we have achieved all of these things, we cannot go ahead and say, leave a note without thanking our partner teams from various different chapters and business verticals. So we have our Women at board members who have been a pillar with us for organizing different focus areas. So big thank you for them. And all our chapter leaders from different business verticals. So a big thank you. It would have been impossible without you guys.
And as I close this, I leave you with a thought that, inclusion and workplace inclusion is not only the right thing to do, it is the smart thing to do, and I think all of us would agree. So Women at Amazon India is open for every Amazonian across gender, across roles, across levels, and we're very happy to say that out of the 200 employees, volunteers that we have, around good 40% of them are men. So we're very happy to have them as well in the volunteering group. So we invite you to join us, to learn with us, to grow with us, because inclusion doesn't happen automatically. It happens when a group of people come together and build together. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Snigdha, thank you so much for the incredible work that you have been doing apart from the day job. And thank you for creating a community that is thriving so well today. And I would like to request Deepa Koka on stage to please appreciate your efforts and present you with a token of appreciation from all of the women community at Amazon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone.
All right, can we just take a quick minute to thank our ISL interpreters, Atul and Rajesh. Thank you so much. All right, I have a confession to make, and this is a true story. So when I was younger, I thought owning a credit card was a sign of weakness.
You're still young, though.
Thank you. So the thoughts that ran in my head were, why can't you live life within the savings that you've got? What if you overspend? What if there's no coming back? And I pledged to never own a credit card. Obviously, my family and friends laughed at my naivete. To my credit, though, I held on to that promise. But just last month, honestly, last month is when I finally caved and I got my first credit card in this age and stage of my life.
And how is that working out for you, Madhulika?
I can't believe we got claps for that. Are there others who don't own credit cards? I'm very impressed. Oh, you don't? Right, join the gang. I honestly have no clue what I'm doing, which is why I'm super excited about this upcoming session on financial empowerment through smart credit card management. And joining us is our external speaker who's got more than 800,000 plus followers, because he helps break down everything related to credit card management into simple, applicable concepts. So whether it's travel benefits or whether it's selection of credit cards, things that we would have really benefited to know, right? I'm very pleased to welcome India's leading credit card influencer, Ali Hajiani, founder of Reward Points Club, and famously goes by his Insta handle, That Credit Card Guy.
Thank you so much, everyone. All right, how is everyone doing today? My name is Ali Hajiani. Thank you for the introduction, That Credit Card Guy. And today, I'm here to teach you something super interesting on what you might think is a very boring topic, and that's credit cards and how you use them the right way. Is everyone ready? All right, so we'll get started. It is an early morning. Firstly, I want to give a round of applause, if everyone can help me, to Amazon for the ElevateHER program. This is an insane program which Amazon runs to empower women, and we are 2 days away from Women's Day. So there's no better time to do this. All right. So, quick show of hands. I'd like to understand the audience a little bit more today. How many of you have a credit card? Okay, I'd give that like a 90%, right? 90% of the audience has a credit card. My next question to you is, how many of you have used the reward points on your credit card to redeem something? It could be an Amazon voucher. It could be the pressure cooker they show you the first thing when you open that website, or whatever else you would have redeemed. I see now it's gone down to about 70%. Who's probably redeemed? Now, how many of you have ever redeemed your credit card points to give you a full free international vacation, including your 5-star hotels and flights? 0. No one put their hands up. And guys, this is very much possible by using your credit cards the right way. And that's what we're going to start off with today. So hopefully I've given you some incentive to listen to me for the next 40 minutes on how you need to use your credit cards the right way. Maybe your next flight will be free with your points. So let's get started. All right, so that's a few topics we're going to cover today. I'd urge you guys to look at the screen. I have a quick deck for you guys so you can visualize this. That's the easiest way to learn. So we're going to cover, first of all, why you need a credit card. We'll zip through this because most of you already have one. How do you choose what the right credit card is? Now, most of you have at least one credit card. Some might have 2 or 3. But if you hold them up, can you actually honestly tell me, Ali, I know this one is better than this one? No one knows. No one cares. You just use it. Okay, pay my bill on time. I know that much, right? Now, the third thing I'll cover is what are the best credit cards. Oops, I've put 2025 there. We're already in 2026. But yes, the best credit cards for the year 2026. And this changes every year because banks keep changing their credit card offerings. They keep changing their benefits. New cards keep coming out. So I keep track of all of this so you don't have to. And I'll give you quick insights into what credit card you should get next and why it might be right for you. Number 4 is how you can use your credit card the right way. And yes, there is a strategy to using your credit cards. And the last thing we'll cover is the first point I started with, which is how you can actually get a free trip by using your credit card the right way. All right? So let's get started with the first topic. Why do we even need to get a credit card? Okay? So the first reason you need a credit card is 45 to 50-day interest-free credit. Most of you know this. Most basic concept of a credit card is when you use it. Let's say today is what? Today is the 6th. Now let's say you get your credit card in March, okay? And you've used your credit card for the entire month. At the end of the month, you'll have a statement generate. Now that statement will tell you, hey, Ali, you swiped your card 7-8 times, you've spent 20,000 rupees on it, and that is the statement generation date. And you get the statement of everywhere you swiped. Now at the top of that statement, it will give you a due date. The due date is 15 days from the statement date. So in March, I swipe. End of March, I'll get my statement. I have to pay that statement by April 15th. So I just got 45 days of interest-free credit that I don't have to use my money on, and I'm using the bank's money. But don't think of it like it's your money. At the end of the day, that's the problem that most young professionals have. They get a credit card. They get a card with 1 lakh limit. They think, oh, this 1 lakh is mine to use. At the end of the day, you have to pay it back. So use the 45 to 50-day interest-free credit that you have, but spend within your means. Number 2, and I was actually very surprised when I started talking about this. Most people don't know about the second point. And all credit cards offer purchase protection. What this means is if I swipe my credit card on a random website, right? Maybe I'm not purchasing from Amazon and I'm buying something online and I don't get the goods or services that I have paid for, right? At that point of time, if you don't get a reply from the seller, if you're not getting your product, you can always just call the number on the back of your card and ask them for and dispute that transaction. Hey, I made this transaction 2 weeks back. I haven't gotten the goods for it. I would like to dispute this. This seems to be a fraudulent transaction. And the bank and the network partner will work to make sure that you get your money back on your card, and they follow up with the seller to make sure either your goods are back sent to you or that you get your money back. Now, most credit cards, if you see, have Visa, Master, American Express, diners on it, right? You might be thinking, hey, my card is HDFC. What does Visa have to do with it? That's the network partner. The network partner's job is to make money go from point A to point B. If I'm using my card and I'm swiping it or tapping it at McDonald's, the money that's going from my card to McDonald's goes through the network partner, which is Visa. That is the whole point. And that's how it's a multi-billion-dollar company, because it just manages the protection and the transfer of that money. And every card gives you this protection. If you would have used UPI, if you would have used your debit card or cash to pay for something, getting that money back is 10 times harder if it's a fraudulent transaction, because that's money gone from your bank. So every card has purchase protection. Number 3, which is also a very important point, and I urge all of you, if you're early in your careers, to get a credit card early, not to overly spend or splurge on it, but to build your CIBIL score. This is one of the best ways and easiest ways that you can start building your CIBIL score. Your CIBIL score is basically just your credit worthiness by a bank. 10 years later, if you go to a bank and say, I want to buy a car, I want to buy a house. Look, I have never taken a credit card in my life. I've never taken a loan. I'm so responsible. I've never needed your money. Today I want a house loan. Give me that loan. The bank will say, who are you? I don't know you. I don't have data on your transactions. As compared to someone who's used a credit card for 10 years, paid their bills on time, now that person goes for a house loan, that's much safer for the bank. Hey, you took a credit card 10 years back. You took a personal loan 4 years back. You took a car loan last year. You've paid all of those dues. So I know that my risk with you is less. With the other person, I don't know him or her. And that is where a CIBIL score gives you that credit worthiness that the bank needs to give you that loan. And tomorrow when you need that loan, because you're credit worthy, you'll get a home loan interest rate of 7.5%, even lower, while the other person might get 8.5%. And when you're taking a 1 crore loan, that 1% adds up because you're taking that 20-year loan. So it really, really, really matters when you take a credit card early and you actually build your personal finance through this with your credit score. And the last point, which is the most fun, which is how you can use your reward points to give you 8, 10, 15% returns on your expenses. I, as a normal, an average, I think, earner at my age, I spend about 1 lakh rupees a month on my basic expenses, my rent, my groceries, my travel, and I'm able to get at least 10 to 15% in returns on my expenses because I'm just using cards the right way. Now, people struggle to get 15% on stock market gains. I'm giving you 15% on your expenses, right? I'm giving you money back to spend. Now, what happens if you never got a credit card? I'll give you guys a quick example. Now, there's two friends, Sita and Geeta, and they both spend 50,000 a month. They spend 6 lakh rupees in a year, all right? And one doesn't take a credit card and just says, yeah, UPI is easier, cash is easier, I don't want to get into a credit card trap. And the other one uses a credit card, right? On just 50,000 expenses a month, right? Is that a fair amount? Am I taking too high or low of expenses? Is that like a fair amount of what somebody spends in today's day and age? Yes, no? All right. So we spend 6 lakhs a year. What kind of compounding effect does spending 6 lakhs a year the smart way actually give us, right? If you get a basic credit card or a UPI-based card that just links to your credit card, there are credit cards now that link to your UPI and you can get cash back on it as well. So if you get a basic one that just gives you 2%, right? That can give you about 7 lakhs in returns over 20 years, just that 2% reinvested because you've used a card instead of using cash or UPI. But we're not talking about getting 2% back. I will show you cards that can give you 5, 8, 10, 15% returns on your basic expenses, right? And that 10%, what is 10%? We spend 50K, if we get 5,000 back, that 5,000 invested over a large period of time can compound monthly, yearly, and that actually amounts to saving 38 lakh rupees in the long run just by using your credit card the right way. So it's the small disciplined compounding effects that really, really help you build a stronger financial foundation. Now, how do you select the right credit card? All right, everyone with me so far? All right, we've got just a few more slides and we'll get to the good stuff. Now, my question to you guys earlier was, many of you may have 2 or 3 credit cards. How do you know which card is right for you? Can you pick up 2 cards and say this card is better, right? So I have put 5 to 6 credit cards on screen, right? And most of these credit cards have different reward point structures, and they do this because they do want to keep it a little bit confusing for the end user, and everyone has their own structure. So the HDFC Millennia credit card gives you 1 point when you spend 100 rupees. The Axis Atlas credit card gives you 2 points when you spend 100 rupees. If you look at the last card, the Axis Magnus, it gives you 12 points when you spend 200 rupees. So how do you know which one's right for you? Just based on the logic of points, it seems like the last one is the best card. It's giving us 12 points. Does this make sense? But the problem is, points are just game money until you know the real world value of those points. So you first look at how much these points are worth in a cash conversion perspective. Hey, 12 points I'm getting, but what is the value of each point, right? Now, if you're looking at the Axis Magnus card, that 1 point is just worth 20 paise. I don't know if I'm coming in the middle, you guys can see, but every point is worth 20 paise. So while a credit card company is telling you, sir, take this card, it's giving you the most points, the point value is really low. The other cards are giving you 1 rupee per point. So now if you look at the cash value, the second card just became the best card because it's giving me 12,000 back. Now your question to me should be, Ali, that's great. All of that is fine. Still seems a little basic, but if I'm spending 6 lakhs in a year, which is on the top of this slide, and you're telling me I'll get 12,000 rupees back, that's just 2%. I don't want to do so much effort for just 2%, right? So what is the other benefit here? So you should never be converting your credit card points for cash or for vouchers or for those gifts that they give you on the website, because that's where they make the most money, by giving you the least value for your points. But we don't know what to do with our points. What else can we do? Today, the ecosystem has evolved. We are following the West in a lot of ways when it comes to how credit cards are used. In today's day and age, you can transfer your credit card points to your Air India program and travel via Air India. You can transfer it to Marriott. You can move points and get Taj vouchers. You can do it for any kind of hotel or flight program and actually travel for free. So while people are redeeming their credit card points for cash, you should ideally be transferring it for hotel or flight programs, because that's where credit cards give you the best returns. But Ali, why hotels and flights? First reason is because those are perishable products. At the end of the day, if today's night is over, the hotel is never getting that hotel night back. So they want to give people the option to use their points and book. Right? And that's why they give banks a favorable rate, and banks buy these points in bulk. So tomorrow you can go stay at a Marriott hotel. I've stayed at the JW Golfshire at Nandi Hills at least 7 times in the last year for free because I've used my points. Right? So this is where you can use your credit cards to transfer your points the right way, and you should always be looking for a better conversion rate. So you saw how I showed you the second card, Axis Atlas, giving 12,000 rupees back. But in this scenario, if you transfer it to hotels, specifically Accor hotels, which are Novotel, Sofitel, Raffles, Fairmont, Ibis, Mercure, all of these hotel chains, each point is worth 4 rupees in Accor hotels. So now my value is not 12,000 rupees. Now my value is 48,000 rupees. So I can go stay. If I spend that 6 lakh rupees in a year, I can get 48,000 rupees worth of free hotel stays, while other people probably use it for 2,000 rupees of cash on their next statement. And I'll show you how this is done. I'll show you an easy way of how this works. But this is just showing you how your next vacation for you, your loved ones, your partner, your family can absolutely be free. And you can actually make memories of all of this by using your card the right way. And that's the first example of how you select the right card. To summarize, when you look at your cards tomorrow, you should ask yourself, what is the base return rate on my card? That means, how many points am I getting for every 100 rupees that I spend? What is the accelerated return rate? Where else can I spend on this card to give me more points? Many credit cards will give you extra points, like the Amazon Pay ICICI card itself gives you 5% when you spend on Amazon, but gives you less when you spend elsewhere, right? So every credit card has its ecosystem. Where should you be spending on that card to make sure you're getting the maximum use of it? Number 3, what are the milestone benefits? Most credit cards will actually give you extra points when you hit a certain spend milestone. Hey Ali, spend 4 lakhs in a year, we'll give you an extra 20,000 points. Hey, spend 8 lakhs in a year, we'll give you another 30,000 points. Most credit cards have a milestone feature. Not most, I would say some have. And you should look for this feature and see if you can spend that much. If you spend that much, it's a good card for you to get. Number 4 is, what are the transfer partners? So where can I transfer my credit card points? How can I use my points? So tomorrow a credit card transfers to Air India, but I don't like traveling Air India. Hypothetically, don't get a card that you don't want transfer partners with. And the last piece is, what are the soft benefits? And guys, soft benefits is the area where most of us get sold. There are two benefits in a credit card, like for credit cards. There are hard benefits, which is how much money am I getting back for how much I spend? And there are soft benefits, which the bank salesman tries to sell you. Sir, you get lounge access. Here, you get movie tickets. Here, you'll get golf benefits. Sure, those are great, but the bank doesn't have to spend a lot on those, and we get sold on those soft benefits. Look at those as well, but that should be the last thing you look at. Because you're using that credit card for a lounge once in a few months, maybe twice, but you're spending on it every day. And the bank makes 1% back for all of your spends. So always look at a credit card first on, hey, I'm going to be spending like 50K a month on it. What are my actual cash back, or what is the money I'm getting back, or what are the points I'm getting? Look at the lounge access secondary. Now, we talk about some of the best cards in India today, and I'm only going to talk about 3 cards to keep it very, very simple. And this shows a progression journey of how you should start and how you can grow as your spends increase. Today, if you're a fresher, today you're starting off with a 20, 30, 50,000 rupee salary. At this point of time, your expenses are going to be lesser than what they will be 5 years from now. So your credit cards need to progress the same way you do in your income levels, in your expenditure levels, and your career. And, the first credit card that, as we all know it, and no, I wasn't forced to say this, but yes, it is one of the best credit cards that anyone can start off with. It's the Amazon Pay ICICI Bank credit card. It has no fee, which is why it's one of the best ways to start off with your credit card journey. Now, just because Ali said this is the best card for you to get doesn't mean you end this session and then you probably go on Amazon and then try to apply for it. If you've never had a credit card before, you should get your first credit card wherever your salary account or banking relationship is. Okay, and you shouldn't run after the benefits at all. Your first credit card should be gotten only for one reason, and one reason only, is to build your CIBIL score, is to build that banking relationship. 3 to 6 months later, I promise you, you yourself will curse me in because you will get 100 calls every day because you will be eligible for so many more cards and you will get so many spam calls asking you to take a credit card. Because why? You're not getting calls today, but you'll get 6 months later because you would have built your CIBIL score, and banks can see that. So get a basic credit card. 3 to 6 months later, maybe get an Amazon Pay ICICI card. Now, most of us know it gives 5% cash back on Amazon, right? Do we know this? Yes or no? Super simple, basic. Do we know we can book flights and hotels on Amazon as well? Right? So it doesn't just help me with my Amazon Fresh groceries, doesn't just help me with my Amazon expenses, but it helps me book flights and hotels and gives me 5% back on that. And it gives you a 10% discount because it's partnered with Make My Trip and it gives you additional discounts. So it's a great way to actually start off your credit card journey. Oops. Most of you don't know this though. The Amazon Pay card is partnered with ICICI Bank. ICICI has its own portal where you can buy gift vouchers, book flights, book hotels. It's called the ICICI iShop portal. On this portal, if you look at the first point here, I'll move away. You get 4% cash back on any shopping voucher that you buy on the iShop portal. So you just Google ICICI iShop. You open this portal, you will see multiple vouchers like Big Basket, Myntra, even Flipkart, even other brands. Whatever your personal spending is going on, you can buy a voucher for that and get 4% cash back. So, sorry, I don't mean to plug in Flipkart, but yes, there are many other options as well where you can spend. The only thing I'm trying to tell you is what you think is just an Amazon Pay card is very, very versatile. You can use that on Pizza Hut. You can get 4% cash back everywhere. So a free credit card is giving you 4 to 5% back on everything, be it your flights, be it your hotels, be it your shopping, be it your groceries, be it your fashion, whatever it might be. So this was just a really quick example of somebody spending 30,000 rupees a month. Maybe some of their spends are on Amazon, some are on groceries, Myntra, Zomato, Swiggy, Instamart, Amazon Now, whatever it might be. You get 5% cash back there. You're getting 4% cash back on your groceries on your Myntra. You're getting a 10% discount and cash back on your flights and hotels. Overall, have we ever tried to calculate, hey, if I use this card diligently, I can actually extract 20 to 30,000 rupees worth of value on a free credit card? This is the first way I want you to think. I just want you to change how you think about spending. Think about, hey, I'm spending my hard-earned money today. What am I getting back? Right? Think about that. Think about it that way, and you will actually get insane rewards, and your next vacation will eventually be free. Now, that example, just go back, was for somebody spending around 30,000 rupees, so 3,60,000 in a year. Now, if you spend a little bit more than that, as you progress in your career, as you spend more money, one of the best credit cards you can get there is probably the Axis Horizon credit card. I personally like this credit card because it's great for somebody spending about 50,000 rupees a month. To give you a little bit of context, if you spend 50,000 rupees a month on this card or 6 lakhs, you get that 40 to 45,000 rupees worth of hotel stays for free. And this has over 20 different transfer partners, be it Air India, be it Accor Hotels, be it ITC. Now, Ali, you're just talking about all of this, but how do we actually implement this? How do I, after this session, actually understand how to do this, right? So let's get to a practical example, all right? Now, the practical example I'll show you is of this credit card. And in today's day and age, I feel in 2026, this is one of the best credit cards you can get by directly applying. You can get this card. All salaried employees are eligible for this card. And it has, I think, a 40,000 rupee monthly salary eligibility criteria. It's called the HSBC Travel One credit card. And it's best for people who like traveling, best for people who like, it gives you lounge access, it gives you everything you want. But what can I actually do with this card? Okay? Now, if you guys listen to me for just the next 5 minutes, you will actually understand the power of what credit cards can do. Now, if you spend 1 lakh rupees a month, I'm taking a higher side example, it can be lesser also, but you spend 1 lakh a month just for rounded purposes, 12 lakhs a year. This is what this credit card can unlock for you. I urge you to look at the parts which I've highlighted. You earn 4 reward points when you spend 100 rupees on travel aggregators or on foreign currency, right? That's the first thing you need to look at. The second thing is you get 2 reward points for everything else. No cap. I spend everywhere, I'm getting 2 points. You get 10,000 bonus points. This is the third point. 10,000 bonus points when you spend, I'll just move. You get 10,000 bonus points when you spend more than 12 lakhs in a year. That's 1 lakh a month. And the last thing is that you can convert your points to air miles at a 1:1 ratio. So what does this mean, Ali? Break this down for us. So before I break it down, one last point is that if you book flights or hotels on the HSBC portal itself, like every card or every platform wants you to book flights or hotels or things on their own platform to keep you in their ecosystem, they reward you much, much higher. So I get 6x points when I spend on flights. Normally I'm getting 4 points. So I will get 24 points. If I'm spending on hotels, I get 12x the points. So just to make this very simple, and you can take a screenshot of this, or a picture rather, or we can send this deck over to you. But if I spend 12 lakhs a year on the HSBC Travel One credit card, by the end of the year, if you look at the bottom, you will get around 90,000 points. Now, most of us don't think of this. No one thinks of actually building a credit card strategy. Nobody thinks of, hey, I'll get this card this month, I'll spend on it every month, and by the end of the year, I should have 80 to 90,000 points. Right? Now, what can you do with 90,000 points? Here's the fun part. With 90,000 points, I can transfer my points to almost 20 different airline and hotel partners. Air Asia, Air France, Air India, British Airways, Japan Airlines, Singapore Airlines. I can travel anywhere in the world by transferring my points and using them for free travel. Here's a quick example. I travel between Mumbai and Bangalore almost every month. This is Air India's website screenshot for how much it costs to travel in points from Mumbai to Bangalore. 4,000 points. I spent 1 lakh a month on this card and I got 91,000 points. How many free flights from Mumbai to Bangalore did I just get? I got 22 free flights because I spent 1 lakh a month. This is Air India. Right now you can open Air India, search Mumbai to Bangalore, put in pay in points, and you can travel in 4,000 points. I will move my HSBC points to Air India, and I will travel here in 4,000 points. And that is how you use your points to get free travel. Apart from that, you can always transfer your points to hotels. Today's hotel program we're talking about is Accor hotels. Like I said earlier, most people don't know the word Accor, but when I say, oh, Accor hotels is just the parent company of Novotel, Sofitel, Ibis, Mercure, Raffles, Fairmont, Pullman, Swissôtel. You would have heard of at least one of those brands. There's a Mercure in Koramangala. There's a new Accor hotel that's opened up in Nandi Hills. It's called Angsana. That's another one you can probably staycation at. So most of these hotels, globally, you can use your points at and stay for free. Now, Accor has a very simple program where every Accor point is worth 2 rupees. A little bit more than 2 rupees. It's pegged to the euro. And unfortunately, as the INR is depreciating against the euro, but your Accor points are getting more value. So this is where I, again, guys, have 91,000 points. I can transfer them instead of Air India to Accor hotels. 91,000 Accor points is worth 1.8 lakhs of free hotel stays that I can stay at anywhere in the world. I came back last year from a 16-day trip that I did to Thailand, different parts of Thailand, Phuket, Krabi, Bangkok. I did Hong Kong. I did Guangzhou. So I was in China. 16 days at 16 different Accor properties, all using my points that I earned the year previous. So this is how you can use your credit card points to actually avail crazy benefits by spending the right way. Here's a quick example. With those same 91,000 points, you can actually transfer your points. Remember, 91,000 points is what we have if we spend 1 lakh a month. You move 64,000 points to Air India. You move the remaining points to Accor hotels. One flight to Bangkok, 16,000 points. So return 32,000. I'm taking my partner, for example, 64,000. The 27,000 Accor points, 2 rupees per point, is giving me 54,000 rupees worth of hotel stays. So most hotels in Thailand, or if you go to Indonesia or Bali, they're fairly cheap. They're fairly economical. You can get them between 5 to 10,000 rupees a night. We have 50,000 rupees worth of free hotel stays. That's easily about 7, 8 nights for free. And this is how you strategize. This is how you decide, I want to get this credit card. I'm going to spend on it on these categories. I'm going to earn these many points in the next 6 months. And this is how I'm going to get my free flight for my next vacation. And that money that I would have eventually spent on that vacation, I will be more diligent and I will save that money. Or maybe you take 2 vacations. Not recommended, but sure. So this is how the right credit card strategy, guys, can get you a 1 to 2 lakh vacation for free. The 3 cards we talked about is, or rather 4. First is start off with a basic card if you don't have a credit card today to build your CIBIL score. Get a decent cashback card, like maybe the Amazon Pay ICICI one, when you're spending 20 to 30,000 a month. As your spending increases, upgrade to maybe an Axis Horizon credit card. As you spend even more, 70, 80,000 a month if you're spending, maybe get an HSBC Travel One. And this is how your credit cards should grow as you increase your income, increase your spending, whatever your lifestyle permits. Oops. And let's say you don't want to travel Air India. Let's say you don't want to take those Accor hotel stays. There's so many other options. I don't know if you can see on screen, Mumbai to Tokyo is 42,000 miles. There's Mumbai to Sydney at 42,000 miles. Same for Bangalore. So around 40,000 points can get you a 9-10 hour flight ticket if you transfer your points to Singapore Airlines, which is one of the best airlines in the world. So this is how you use your points to travel for free using your credit cards. And this is actually just the beginning. This is actually just how you get started. There are more premium cards than this, like the HDFC Infinia, the Axis Magnus Burgundy. There are top cards that every bank has that they give to their top customers, and these can get you even more returns. You can transfer points between airlines and use them. I can use my Air India points on Air Canada for Air Canada flights because they're part of the same alliance. This is all a lot more advanced, but this is how deep it can actually go if you learn how to use your credit card points and airline points and alliance partners the right way. So I leave you with this. This is a QR code of my card tools. So tomorrow, when you want to apply for the right card, you want to refresh on anything you learned today, you want to find that website. Hey Ali, how did you find that 4,000 points for Air India? I want to do that. Every link is here. Every piece of information you'd want is here. If you want to apply for any of the cards, it's here. So this is just your cheat sheet to keep handy whenever you're ready to probably take your next credit card or learn more about how you can plan your next trip. So next time, if I ever see any of you, my question is going to be, where's your next trip and how are you doing it? Thank you so much, guys. Did you guys learn something new today? Oh. I'll get it fixed and I'll refresh it. I'll have it sent out to you guys through the Amazon team. But yes, thank you so much. We have about 4 to 5 minutes left, so I'm happy to take any questions if you guys have. Otherwise, we can definitely have the next team on stage. All right.
Do you have any questions?
Come on. I think that was such an insightful session. Oh, we have our first question.
Okay.
Let's get you a mic. Sorry, just hold on.
Hi, this is Praveena.
Hello.
I'm using the HDFC Infinia card and I book flights using SmartBuy and I redeem my points there. But is that advantageous or transferring to the airlines is more advantageous?
So SmartBuy is a great way to use your points if you want to travel flexibly. You can travel and look for flights of your choice whenever you're looking. Now, if you want to just chase value, for example, you can transfer your Infinia points to Singapore Airlines. The ratio is 1:1. Now, I have the same card. I'm planning to transfer my points to Singapore Airlines. Now, a business class ticket on Singapore Airlines. I'm planning a trip to Bali for my birthday in June. And a business class ticket to Bali, which is a 7.5-hour flight, in rupees costs about 1 to 1.2 lakh rupees. But in points, it just costs 47,000 points. So if I had to book that ticket on SmartBuy, it would cost me 1 lakh. I would pay 70/30 on Infinia. But if I transfer my points, I only have to use 47,000 miles. However, if you're traveling economy or using it for domestic flights, usually SmartBuy is better. If you're planning to do a lavish business class flight redemption or a hotel redemption, then transferring your points to Singapore Airlines or Finnair or Qatar Airways is much better.
Thank you so much.
Sai will come on.
Oh, it's like some 5 or 6 hands up.
Hi, Ali.
Hello.
Hi. We would like to know what about these high-end cards have a annual fee attached to it, right? So how do we try to get some kind of a leeway on that?
So most of these high-end cards, including some of the ones I've shared, for example, the HSBC Travel One card, which we used in our example, costs 5,000 rupees plus GST. So it costs about 5,900 rupees. Now this card also comes with a joining benefit. Whenever you look at the fee of the card, the annual fee, also look for the section that says joining benefit and see if that gives you at least a nullifying amount. So this card comes with 3,000 points, which is worth around 6,000 rupees in hotels. So my 6,000 rupee I paid as my fee is worth 6,000 in hotels. So at least the first year is paid for. The next thing you need to look at is annual fee waiver. Every credit card will tell you if you spend X amount of money, your next year fee will be waived. So get a credit card. So for example, the HSBC Travel One has an 8 lakh annual fee waiver. If you spend 8 lakhs in the year or 65,000 rupees a month, so 8 lakhs a year, then your next year fee is waived off. But if you are somebody who spends just 50 or 60,000 a month, then don't get that card because you'll kind of psychologically make your spend make yourself spend that extra 1 lakh to hit the fee waiver to save 5,000 rupees. So that's the idea of make sure your spends dictate what credit card you get, not your credit card dictating your spends. And same way for the HDFC Infinia, that has an annual fee waiver of 10 lakhs. So if you spend 10 lakhs a year, there is no fee on that card. So always look for annual fee waiver and joining benefit to at least pay for the initial fees that you're paying on the card.
We have time for maybe one last question.
Huh.
Audible? Yeah. Hi, I'm Aisha. So I have a question on how do you split your spends between multiple cards? So I already have an HDFC Infinia, Amazon Pay, ICICI. I recently got the HSBC Premier based on your page. So if I have 1.5 lakh to 2 of spends a month because I have international travel and all of that as well as part of work, how do you propose I split it between these two premium cards?
So the HSBC Premier gives you a lot more points on your travel and flights and hotel bookings. When you book it through the HSBC portal, it's insanely high, the kind of returns they're giving. So I would put most of my travel on HSBC. Apart from that, a lot of the spend most people have tends to be on excluded criteria, like my electricity, my insurance, my fuel. These kind of categories don't give points on most credit cards. Luckily for you, both of your cards are giving you points on all of these excluded spend criteria as well. So I would look to strategize what my spends are, where 7 or 8 buckets of my spend: entertainment, grocery, dining, insurance, school fees, whatever it may be, travel, etc. And then spend at least 50% on the Infinia to hit the 10 lakhs so I can get the fee waiver, and put most of the accelerated spend categories on the HSBC Premier. Wherever you can buy vouchers, you would use the Infinia and buy those smart buy vouchers. If I'm shopping on Myntra, I will not swipe either card. I'll buy the Myntra voucher from HDFC Infinia, use that. If I'm shopping on Amazon, either I'll use the Amazon Pay ICS or I'll buy Amazon vouchers and then use it from that. HSBC does not have the option to buy vouchers at extra accelerated points. So I would put my flights and hotels on that.
Got it. So big ticket retail goes into HSBC and then HDFC for vouchers and accelerated spends.
Most of your accelerated spend on HDFC Infinia, along with some excluded criteria spend to hit the 10 lakh milestone, the fee waiver, everything else on your Premier.
Thank you. Thanks, Ali.
Thank you.
Thank you, audience, for your questions. You know what I realized, Ali? I was a Sita, but I have full plans, a full glide plan to make my transition to a Gita.
Amazing.
Thank you so much for your time. To offer a small token of appreciation, may I invite Saroj Sachdeva, please?
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Ali, for a wonderful session. I think all of us were told how to save, not how to leverage, right? We were told, beta, don't spend too much. No one taught us, beta, optimize your reward strategy, right?
I will tell you this, though, that session of yours really inspired me to book my next solo trip. Are we feeling inspired? Do you know where you want to travel? Do you have places on your bucket list?
Yay.
Yes? Can I get a few ideas, please?
I think I'm going to go
Places
to
you wanna
Bali.
travel? Oh, that
Come
sounds
on,
nice.
ladies.
Yeah, beach holiday sounds really nice. But do we really have the time to travel?
I think what's the point of reward points? Ali, Madhulika, I don't think I have time anyways, right? And I'm always too tired. I don't think it's feasible for me anyways.
And how many times have we said that to ourselves? That little niggling feeling of guilt when we're really trying to take out some time for ourselves, it's very relatable, is it not? Right?
Yes. We have been conditioned to believe rest must be earned. If you slow down, means you're falling behind. But here's the truth. Wellness isn't luxury. It's maintenance for high-performance women.
So I'm going to take this opportunity to get us all to change the narrative a little bit. Wellness can mean many different things to different people. So there could be emotional wellness, where it is you de-stressing by talking to a friend over a cup of tea.
True.
Or it could be physical wellness, where you might want to go for a jog or a spa date. It could be financial wellness, like we just learned from the session that took place now.
Yes, like it could be candles and spas, like she said, or it could be setting boundaries, saying no without that 3-paragraph explanation, sleeping peacefully without bothering by that alarm that you keep on snoozing. So everything is coming under wellness, and on this note, I think that brings us to our next conversation, which is centered around wellness. I'm excited to invite Payal Gupta, Director Software Development Central Shopping Experience. With more than 2 decades of experience in the technology industry, she is actively involved in conversations, mentorships, and initiatives that encourage more women to pursue careers in engineering and leadership. Payal will be moderating the session for us today, and she is joined by a wonderful panelist, Anuradha Agrawal, Director Marketing and Growth, Amazon India. With over 2 decades of leadership experience, Anuradha has held senior marketing and P&L roles at organizations such as Marico, Mondelez International, Vodafone, Unilever, and Disney Star. Known for combining sharp consumer insight with creativity and technology, she is a strong believer in continuous learning and open dialogues. Maulika Sharma, Director, Customized Learning Solutions, Workplace Options, and industry wellness expert. Maulika has a diverse background. Her journey from the technology industry to the realm of emotional and mental health showcase a transition driven by her passion for helping others, her commitment to promoting emotional and wellness being, particularly in the workplace, is evident through her workshops and training engagements. And we have Ishita Sawant. Ishita is the founder and CEO of Meola, a technology-powered FMCG company, building a new generation of global consumer brands in India, serving more than 600,000 customers and launching Hera, one of India's fastest-growing premier fragrance brands. Over to you, Payal, for taking us through this wellness session.
Thank you. All right. So I've been leading engineering teams for several years, and I spend a lot of time thinking about intelligent systems, how they're built to perform, not just in a single moment, but over time and at scale. Scale to peak performance, shed resources and slow down when traffic is slow, and most importantly, degrade gracefully in a moment where a particular request cannot be served. And the more I've thought about this, the more I've come to believe people are no different. The most effective leaders are usually not the ones that sprint the hardest, but the ones that have learned how to perform sustainably through the various phases, stages, demands of their careers, their lives, and themselves. And that is what we will converse about today. Sustainable performance and its relationship with holistic well-being. Not slowing down, not stepping back, but building the kind of foundation that allows you to move forward, to lead better, and to show yourself up fully for your work, your teams, your family, and for yourself. And today, I'm joined by 3 remarkable women who have thought deeply about this topic and, more importantly, have lived it. So let's get started right away. This first question, I'm going to request all of you to please share your perspective. Wellness means different things to different people at different points in life. As you've traversed through your own professional and personal journeys, how has your perspective of well-being changed over time? Anuradha.
Hey, thanks for having me here, Payal, and really nice to see a very engaged audience and one which is also financially savvy now after the last conversation.
I am too.
This is a very, to me, it's a very loaded question. I think that sometimes the more things change, the more they stay the same. So some parts of wellness that I used to think, how I defined wellness when I was younger, remains the same and is still eluding me. So I would keep saying, hey, I need to get healthier. I was saying it when I was 25. I'm saying it as today. Hasn't changed. And yet the things I need to do to get healthier are different. Like the definition of healthy and the definition of physical wellness is changing. Now I'd be very happy if I get a good night's sleep, if I can travel, which I do extensively, without getting hugely disrupted sleep and like physical cycles. If I get exercise in my time, I'm very happy. At 25, it meant that I should be able to go on a trek without, and come back and get to work or check my email anywhere. So there's like a big difference. I think the new part of wellness or well-being that's entered my vocabulary now is doing things for myself. I don't know, I know there's a lot of Gen Z lingo around self-care and things like that. For me, it was about making time for things that give me emotional and mental peace. I mean, I have my 2 young girls to keep me young, but I started learning Kathak about 6 years ago. I do a lot of Indian classical music.
Awesome.
And then I had to give up Kathak because I broke my ankle 3 times, and it was nothing to do with like DEXA scans, etc., but it was just 3 accidents. And I just realized that the peace and the spiritual calm that I got through doing things which gave me joy is now my definition of wellness. Like reaching a place of mental peace and contentment with who you are and what you do. For me, that's now what I'm defining wellness as.
That's very wise.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I think I have a much shorter journey, in a professional career. I graduated from college about 3 years ago and started my business pretty much right after. If I had to kind of break it down into 3 phases that I've gone through in the last 3 years, when you're just starting out, anything that's non-work feels like a sin. Whether that's getting a workout in, taking a family holiday, even if it's you flying in super early, just to kind of get at least 48 hours over the weekend of family time, it would mentally drain me being away from work. I think as I entered the 2nd year of the startup, we'd raised meaningful capital. There was a team. I think I slowly started realizing taking out time to be with myself. And I think in the 2nd year of running the business, wellness for me actually meant spending time alone to think through a lot of the problem statements. It was still work-related, but I think there was lesser noise up here, and that felt calmer to me. Now, as I'm entering kind of the 3rd year, we've raised meaningful venture capital, and I think 3 years in, layers of credibility start getting added to one as a professional, whether that's via raising capital, clocking a certain number, building a professional team out. I think today, what I really optimize for is finding my pockets of peace throughout the day. A little hack that I've learned is that there are certain things that you have to do, right? You have to shower in the morning. You have to take that 15, 20 minutes out. Before going to bed, you have some time alone. So if you're able to find means of making those moments that are anyways part of your routine, you have to do that. A little more delightful. It ends up making your day a lot more productive. And I think that's what I'm being a little more reflective about. Over the last 3 years, I think something that I haven't prioritized at all is my health. Whether it's when I eat, how I eat, getting a workout in. I think lately I've started playing paddle and pickleball. I'm sure a lot of women here have started doing it. Initially I would fret about the fact that my friends get in a lot more of these sessions. They're getting better than me quicker. But I think that's like my final takeaway in the last 3 years is if you kind of keep comparing yourself, your life, to others, it puts you in a space that's not great mentally. And so I've come to accept the fact that, hey, I might not be the healthiest, fittest, best playing paddle player on that Sunday evening, but the fact that I'm getting that 1 hour to play and I'm enjoying myself, how many ever drops I have, is completely fine. So I think that acceptance has come in, and hopefully in the next 2 years, I have a little more evolved answer. I have probably a more mental well-being aspect also. But yeah, I think thus far, just working with what I've got and not really giving myself a lot of shit for not being able to do some things which others can, that acceptance has really helped, shape my daily routine today.
And Ishita, I must say, you're doing really well for the first 3 years of your professional life, and congratulations on a successful journey so far. Monica, as a wellness expert, what are your thoughts on this?
Hi, so thank you for having me, and can you hear me? Yeah, okay. So I think I'm dating myself here, but when I started my career, there wasn't a concept of well-being and wellness, and nobody was talking about, focusing on this aspect of life. In fact, a friend of mine who was a peer, at that time there was only one gym in Bangalore that had opened, and she'd taken a life membership, and I thought, wow, she really has the luxury to engage in that. But I think, now in my post-60s phase, I'm, acutely aware that wellness and well-being rather is not focused on any one dimension, certainly not focused on professional well-being alone. And there are pretty much several dimensions of well-being that we need to focus on, and different stages of our life, different aspects will get a different share of the focus, but those 8 stages will 8 phase types of well-being that you need to focus on will always be there. And the 8 really, to list them out, for a little bit of a theoretical perspective, is we are all striving towards professional well-being, but there's also physical well-being, there's mental well-being, there's personal well-being, your own satisfaction, your own joy, your relationships, your financial health, and I was happy to see that we just had a session which was covering that, and your spiritual growth, as well as your environment, the kind of environment that you live in. And I think what's really helped me navigate all of these phases, and there are many inflection points that come in the life of a woman, and mine was no different. There's marriage, there's matrescence, motherhood, menopause, retirement, divorce or widowhood or whatever is that phase, and empty nesting, all of these phases. And what's really helped navigate through that has been engaging with counseling. And I think I started my counseling journey in 2005, first as a client, and then as a trainee, and now as a professional. And that's kind of, I think I'm a different person because of that.
Amazing. Thank you for that, Monica. And while you have the mic, you work with high-performing professionals across different life stages. What does the research and your experience tell about how wellness needs to shift as you navigate professional growth as leaders with personal responsibilities like caregiving and the different milestones that we go through?
So, as you go up the career ladder, there's this misconception that you need to, 100% of your focus has to be on your professional growth at the cost of everything else, and very often what suffers is your physical health as well as your relationships. I think being able to navigate all of that is a function of how you are able to establish your boundaries, having a strong sense of self, and really being able to focus on what is important to you without a sense of guilt. I think guilt really pulls us down.
Yeah.
And being able to identify what are the set of limiting beliefs that each one of us hold, whether it's about making mistakes, whether it's about not being good enough. If we are given a promotion like somebody else mentioned at the beginning, many of us are then filled with self-doubt. And so identifying what are our individual limiting beliefs, and that would be unique to each one, but there are a few that can be generalized. And then developing that sense to be able to stand up to them and shatter them, and believing in ourselves. And most importantly, being gentle and compassionate to ourselves, talking to ourselves like we would to a friend. Most of the time, we are our own worst critics.
Thank you. Thank you. Anuradha and Ishita, we all know ambition doesn't pause for life, and similarly, life doesn't pause for ambition. Whether it's caregiving, health, personal transitions, or simply the weight of carrying a lot at once. How have you navigated the moments when life and work were both demanding everything from you? And we've all gone through those times.
I think in the last 3 years, I've been lucky that life hasn't, apart from work, demanded too much.
And that's awesome.
I think what I've seen growing up, I had a working mother. She had a bona fide corporate career, followed by which she went on to become an entrepreneur. And today, as an entrepreneur myself, I look back and I've asked her multiple times, I have no clue how you did it, because I couldn't. Because she raised me, I was going through my very formative years around the time that she started her business. She took her business public around the time that I was in my high school era, where moms are expected to really focus on their children and their education. But I think something that she always told me, and I embody today, is that, sometimes, Ishita, one is, of course, there's an acceptance that, we can't have it all, and maybe we should stop trying, and stop giving ourselves a beating for it. And the second thing, when I was starting off my business, she told me is that as a woman, when you walk into a room, when you're put into situations where you have to pick, I need you to be, and this was the only piece of advice that she gave me, is I need you to be delusionally ambitious, right? And really convince yourself that you can do it. And that kind of connects me back to actually a very personal experience. In the last year, I got engaged. And a question pops up, thank you, pops up in your head. I'm 25 years old, I was very young, is that, hey, and you see a lot of women sharing this experience, right? That we see start thinking now she's going to get married and she'll have kids, and how she's going to run this business and take it to where, she's promised to take it to. I saw a very different narrative, which I don't think, the previous generation enjoyed. All of my investors were very happy for me. And, when I would speak to them about the fact that I'm young, I can wait it out a couple years, I had a lot of the women partners come back and say that, no, Ishita, you need to figure out how you can do all of these in parallel. This is just as important. And life has to learn to coexist, and you need to tell us when we need to probably readjust our expectations. Hopefully we never get into that scenario, but I think coming from that precedent, learning from her, and then the fact that today we have women mentors in decision-making positions who could empower us to say that you have to be okay running life and work together was great. I think just that reassurance sometimes just pushes your boundaries and makes a lot happen. But yeah, I think the next decade of my life is going to be interesting, because there will be a lot of those life transitions you just mentioned, and I'm excited for it. And I think I'm excited for it because I think I have the right ecosystem around me, right? I think it takes a village, and now your village is not just family, it's also a professional network who's understood the need of the balancing act.
And so amazing that you have such a strong support system both at home and work. Anu?
Yeah, congratulations on your engagement, and it's so impressive to hear you. I'm just listening to how confident you are and how ready for the next steps you are. It's really great to hear you. And you are making me feel really old, so I will say that.
All of us.
Yeah, I mean, all of us, but I'm so excited for your journey ahead. And all the best. This journey, and I keep thinking about what you just said about professional women ahead of you and the experience that you get from them. Maybe my journey was a little different in that sense, and it's really important for all the women in this room and all the women who are coming after a certain generation to keep carrying the torch, right? And I feel like when I was starting out in the corporate world, it's not like the options are fewer, but we felt like we were trailblazers, and I don't even know whether we felt like trailblazers, but I felt like we felt like the tip of the spear, which is taking all the heat and all the friction, because you're right up there, right in the front, and all the friction is on you. And I'm really glad that us and generations before us have kind of created a little bit of space and a little bit of understanding of women being out there on their journeys, can do more than what they were expected to do, or more than what they are allowed to do, and then that they can make their own path. And it's really great to hear that you're having this experience. It feels like we did something right? And I'm really happy with that. As far as my journey is concerned, it's a really long journey and one which is full of trade-offs and choices. So the one thing I would leave this room with is there is no perfect journey. It's not going to be up all the time. I always go back to this one quote, and I'm sorry if I'm sounding old and spiritual right now. Gita has a quote which, when Arjuna was in the war and he was asking Krishna, saying, how will I fight this battle? He says, tell me something that if I see this in good times or in bad times, it will be true and it will inspire me. And Krishna said, this too shall pass. My belief system is when I'm really happy, I have a little bit of anxiety in my mind saying this will also pass. It's not like tomorrow I will be on this high. So when you're doing absolutely gangbusters in your career, in your life, and everything feels good, it's going to pass. You're going to have some trough. You're going to have a bad time as well. So be equanimous around it, be grateful for it, but don't make it an entitlement, because life has no entitlements. The same thing I would say is the same thing in bad times. When things just feel terrible, like, when my daughter was 1.5 years old, when I changed jobs and I was working 18 hours a day, then my younger daughter was 3 when I changed jobs, and I was traveling 18, the number is surprisingly same, 18 days a month internationally. Both of these times it felt like, this is it. I'm not going to be able to continue my career. Because I did want to be a good enough mother. I wanted to make sure that I'm putting the right inputs in. I'm super ambitious. I really like delusionally, I didn't even think I was delusional. I thought it was owed to me. Because I was smart and I was ambitious and I was ready to take on everything, and I was better than all the men in the world. I never thought I was equal to, because who wants to be an equal?
That's awesome.
Right? I always want to be better or smarter or, do well. At every point of this time, of this journey, I felt like this is it. This is not going to go forward. And something would happen to make it go further. I have a really supportive partner, and I keep saying that the support doesn't mean that he babysits the children when I'm not there. Support basically means that he actually carries 60% of the weight. Right? And I feel like when we both carry 60% of the weight, the 20% extra is your buffer zone. Right? And I don't have any family around me for that village, but you create your own village. You create it with friends, with work, with people who will lift you up and take you, or you will create it by just working really hard and at both parts of your life. So for me, life has never been like a balance. It's always been a mashup. And sometimes some things, they say sometimes salt is more, sometimes sugar is more, but that's the reality. And I think I've made many choices which I can post facto justify. I quit companies because they were making me travel 18 hours, 18 days a month. And I felt really bad, because if I'd been there right now, I'm telling myself I would have been CEO of that company. But hey, that's what I'm telling myself today. But I made the choice at that point of time. So I think you have to be confident in the choices you make. In the meandering of this river of life, many times it feels like you have a straight line. It won't be a straight line. The choices will be your choices. You will have to own the choices. And you will have to allow yourself no guilt. For me, those are the 2 mantras I have. This too shall pass, and I do not allow myself any guilt. Because I'm making choices which are, for me, right at that moment of time.
Absolutely.
And hindsight doesn't come into it. Hindsight is 20/20. I can't really change anything in the past. So I don't know whether that answers your question, but that's...
No, it's amazing, and thank you for sharing that. Thank you, Anuradha. I'm going to jump into another question that I'd like everybody to weigh in on. We have a room full of very smart, ambitious women. So if you were advising a high potential woman leader, someone on the cusp of stepping into a significantly larger role, what is the one thing about sustainable performance that you would want her to understand before she takes that step?
Should I go?
Go ahead.
That's a really loaded question, because there were many buzzwords in there. I mean, the buzzword of...
You choose the one that you want to answer.
Like the cusp of a high-performance, high-stress job that comes with it, and then finally sustainability. Every cusp in your life is a time for you to decide who you want to be when you make this transition. I'll talk about my transition to Amazon, so give me a minute. When I transitioned to Amazon, I was taking a break after a 24-year career. I am that old. I'm almost as old as she. Like, my career is as old as she is. At that time, I was asking myself, what do I want to do next? Like, there were friends of mine who were taking early retirement and starting farms somewhere. And I gave myself a few months to think about, where am I? And that cusp told me, that time told me, that, hey, you know, I'm not ready to give this up. I still have huge amounts of like passion and drive and ambition left in me. But I would rather use that to get myself ready for the next phase of my life. So I then decided I will do something that I've never done before. And here's what I did. I took on a job in Bangalore. When I live in Bombay, I still do.
Oh.
I could do it because my kids are now out of the house. The second thing is I took a job in a company like Amazon, which is a tech company, and I've never worked in a tech company. I'm an FMCG plus like media sort of professional. So I took tech. I started working in Amazon Pay, and I've never done financial services in my life. In fact, if you asked me any time in the last 20 years, someone, like my friends would say, hey, this is the one job she will not do. She will not work in the financial services industry.
Oh, wow.
And I took on Amazon Pay. And I've always done marketing in my life. It was easier to do it in some places like that. I actually took on a role as a product plus business plus CX person, and not just marketing, right? Again. So it could be as far a leap from your comfort zone that you could make. And creating that anxiety or whatever discomfort to learn something new is what I decided I will do. So the next 4 years of doing Amazon Pay in Amazon, learning to write 6-pagers when I was used to doing presentations, allowing people to disagree vehemently in rooms when I was in companies which wasn't allowed, many cultural changes. Every time I had discomfort with it, I asked myself, I made this choice. So to that first question, the first buzzword, if you're at a cusp, walk into it with your eyes open and with decisions on why do you want to do this and who do you want to be. Be aware of your challenges, make sure that you can see what's going to happen. So that's like, what are you going to be? How are you going to show up? So that you're able to make those, face them head on with a sense that, listen, I made this choice, right? So there's responsibility. The second buzzword that you spoke about or that you asked was about scale, right? I think scaling up comes with learning. So I know that we get promotions because we think we deserve it. But if you get promoted, it's not an entitlement that you will succeed in it. So in order to succeed in a scaled up job, please make sure that you learn enough. It's almost like a restart of the learning curve. How to deal with people, how to manage different people, how to deal with your peers who are now senior, all of that. It's not an entitlement, it is a process of relearning again. And the third one, because I know I've taken a long time on this story, is sustainable. I would go back to my first answer. This isn't about, sustainability has to be sustainable for you. You have to feel that this I can do for long term. I have, and I'm now proud to say it, I was really not happy about doing it at that point of time. Walked out of really big jobs because they were emotionally, mentally not sustainable for me. They were taking so much out of me that every day I was asking myself, is this worth it? So please make sure that whatever you walk into, and even if you don't know what you're going to walk into, when you're in it, you find a way to make it sustainable. And if it is not, no guilt, no shame in changing or reframing your situation. So, long answer to a very loaded question, but I'm sorry for taking the time.
No, thank you for sharing.
So I think for me, I'm actually just at that cusp where I feel like I'm transitioning from being a scrappy startup founder who gets her hands dirty in everything, and it's a very jugaad attitude to requiring systems, requiring professionals, requiring a leadership team. And I think just before I got into this zone, one thing that I had to push myself to become is very self-aware, right? I had to understand very deeply and accept very deeply what my flaws are, what my strengths are, what helps me thrive every single day. And I think to some extent, and I think my mentors actually pushed me in that direction, and having mentors, I think, is one of the biggest pluses of my last 3 years, is to actually understand what Ishita's operating system is, right? The kind of people that I enjoy working with, the kind of investors that make me want to work hard and show up every single day. And to some extent, this transition from being a early stage startup founder to now a venture to growth stage company has actually been understanding myself and building an ecosystem around me that makes me operate at my best potential. Now, that doesn't mean that I have yes men around me. Yeah. It means that I hire professionals and leaders who I truly respect and who I feel like I will listen to and are smarter than me in the room. It also means that my company is probably factored in a way which is best suited to my leadership style, and then as a function of that, my leadership team's style of working. I know what my flaws are, so I know where I should probably take a step back and let someone else make a decision and execute. So I think this transition for me, coming into a new form, has been a lot of self-awareness, and I think a lot of my mentors put me in the direction that it's okay for you to build this around Ishita, because for the next 7 years at least, this company is going to be about Ishita, right? Before we get into a very corporate structure. Right. So I think that acceptance really helped, because otherwise, I don't know if it's as women, but we feel the need to constantly listen to everyone and take their inputs. At some point, one of my mentors told me, you have one too many mentors. Like, cut some people out, right? Yeah. Only keep the ones who you truly believe are rooting for you without any reason or vested interest around. So that's one. I think the second thing that I've come to now with, and a little bit about what we're building an FMCG company where I'm trying to basically systemize or create an operating system that helps every brand that we build grow and scale really quickly. And so the way I think about myself and my team today is the team is the X, right? They are the X factor who bring the best product idea, the best concept, the best white space that we can build into the table. And my kind of contribution there is how can I take X to the power of I, which is Ishita, right? And eventually will become the operating system. How can I take what you give me, something that's kick-ass, which is well-researched, which has absolutely no loopholes, and take that and blow it up beyond means. And I think that's how we think about it in the system today, and that's why we've not become a corporate. It pushes every single team member to think independently, because they know they get access to the network effects, the entire operating system, the technology that we've built, only if they are able to deliver a 10 on 10 on their results. So I think that's something that's helped me and built a team that's super high ownership. But yeah, those are my two takeaways, right? I think number one has definitely been being very self-aware as we step into this kind of more leadership role. And two is have an operating system with the team that you're working with, right? What's your way of working? Where do you come in? And where do you probably say that this is your call and this is your responsibility area? And I'm going to, whatever decision you take, I'm going to stand with you in its consequences, but the decision and the ownership lies with you. So that's something that has worked for me over the last 6 months of transitioning, for sure.
It's nice, and building that clarity for yourself and your team, I think it's amazing. Malika?
Yeah, so I think, adding to what Anuradha and Ishita have said, sustainability comes from a very strong sense of self, which kind of helps you conquer self-doubt, helps you, accept your flaws, believing that you're good enough. You don't need to be perfect. You are where you need to be in life's journey. And I think a sense of gratitude. even gratitude for having the choices where you're stuck and you're wondering whether should I go left or right.
Yeah.
Because not everybody has those choices. And it is a fact that a larger share of caregiving roles will fall on women. Instead of constantly being in the mode of fighting that, questioning that, just accept it. Be grateful that you have been given that role, that you can play that role, and let the rest of your life fit in how it does. Because there isn't really any one answer that's going to work for everybody. But the key is really being able to juggle all the balls successfully. And very often, you know, one ball will have to be held more and one will have to be held less.
Yeah.
But that's just life. Just investing your energy in fighting it doesn't really help. And I think, you know, while all of you had, both of you had amazing professional journeys, I was one who actually stepped off the ladder.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And I took a long break when I transitioned to motherhood.
Mm-hmm.
I have no guilt about it. Absolutely. It was a 10-year break, to the horror of a lot of people. I don't regret it one bit, and I have no qualms about saying that. And I actually got onto a different career path, which is probably now a much more satisfying career path than if I had been in the, you know, the traditional corporate IT, marketing, blah, blah, blah. I don't know, so there's no right answers. That was the right answer for me. Everybody has to find their own right answers.
Yeah, no, amazing. I'm going to take a minute to share a personal story, and my title for that story is "It's Okay to Be Selfish Without Guilt," and I think it's a theme that we've been talking about, right? So this is about 12 to 15 years back. My daughter is a teenager, late teens now. This was when she was about 3+ years, and that was the first time I decided to travel internationally for work since after she was born, and you know, with a lot of apprehension, with a long list of directions for my husband, I decided to travel. Now, who likes to travel 24 hours, long transit times, long flight times? But guess what? That was the most amazing journey of my life. What did I do? I slept peacefully. I ate my meals peacefully. I watched all the content there was to watch. And I realized I was actually enjoying myself. And for a minute, this wave of guilt swept over me, saying, oh my God, I've left my daughter behind, and I'm having fun. And as I reflected upon it, I realized it's okay. You know, it's okay not to be fulfilling a responsibility of work or home, taking care of something or somebody every waking moment of our lives. It is okay to take some time out for yourself, enjoy without feeling guilty. So that's my advice. Be a little selfish every once in a while. Okay. Okay. I think I'm going to maybe take time for 2 more questions. Anu, one is for you. From your experience at Amazon, how do you think about building an environment where women can lead ambitiously across all stages of their careers and lives? What does intentional support actually look like in practice?
That's a really good question. And nowadays I'm realizing that this intentional support, if you have to give it to women, you have to give it to the men. I have a lot of young men in my team who have young children. And I'm so impressed with the fact that they are being equal partners in their homes. I almost feel like by giving them support, I'm supporting some other women who might be their wives, partners, whatever, in leading careers, who may or may not be in Amazon. So I think one way to do this is to be supportive of people through their journeys and allowing them to be less present or more present, dialing in and dialing out when it is okay, right? When they need it. So whether, I mean, I know we have a lot of really great policies. We have paternity leave, we have maternity leave, we have rekindle programs which allow women to take a break and come back. I think we have women in leadership programs. We have a lot of great programs. But finally, the experience you have at work is highly dependent on leaders.
Yeah.
And I would say that all of you our leaders will become leaders. Please be the kind of leader that you would have liked to have. And sometimes it is situational or dependent on what the person needs and not what you need. And that, if you can show up with empathy and kindness at that point of time, I think that's really valuable. And for me, that's true for women and for men. Of course, there's like times in a woman's journey where she needs more support than the men in your team may need it. Whether it's, and we keep talking about things like maternity and motherhood because they're really big actions. But I think I'm also realizing now, you spoke about menopause, and I'm realizing perimenopause is a really big one. We are talking, and people are talking about just mental health, and people may need to take time for themselves, and not being dismissive of what that need might be. And I think it's true for men and women, may actually make us better leaders. And Amazon is, like I was saying, there's a lot of programs. We have counseling programs. We have women in leadership, which allow women to kind of actually take on mantles and find mentors. But I think fundamentally you have to be a sponsor. You have to be an ally for making sure that women who come into this workplace feel supported, feel like they can do whatever everyone else is doing, and also feel comfortable in taking a step back when it's needed. So I think that would make for a really good environment to work in.
Thank you, Anu. I just got a cue. I think we will need to conclude now. So thank you, Anuradha, Ishita, and Monica, for your honesty and your wisdom and your generosity today. I think we've heard what we all needed to hear today. Sustainability and wellness is not a destination that we reach at one point in time, but is something that we build into practice throughout our life, our career stages, and the various demands that life puts in front of us. So the women on the stage have done it, not perfectly, but intentionally. And that intention is what makes all the difference. So I'll request and urge everybody to take that back with you. Invest in yourself as deliberately as you invest in your work, because everything you build, your team, your company, your career, will be stronger for it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Paya.
Right.
Thank you so much. I just feel like we attended a master class on performance leadership. Thank you so much. And I would like to invite Chaya Mangesh on stage to please hand over the token of appreciation from Amazon.
All right, hopefully you're having a lot of fun. A special shout out to all our virtual attendees from wherever you're streaming in. Thank you for being an attentive audience. I've got some very quick announcements to make. We're now breaking for tea. We will be back at 12:30. So those of you who are attending here, we invite you to come back. We have something super special in store for you. We have a celebrity guest. So please make sure that you're back on time. And to all our virtual attendees, take a bio break, get a stretch, get a beverage, and we'll see you back as well. If you've made a special connection, if you've had an aha moment, if you really like someone, just want to get a picture out there, make sure that you post it on social media for us. Use hashtag Amazon ElevateHER 2026, and let's celebrate these moments together. And while you're grabbing your cup of tea or coffee, make sure that you check out our stalls. We've got our Amazon benefits stalls, and you might not want to miss the one by Amazon Saheli, which showcases locally sourced products from across India and ensures that we help women become successful sellers on the Amazon platform. So we'll see you back at 12:30 sharp.
Your event will return shortly. Please stay tuned. Enjoying the music? All content you're currently listening to was produced by Amazon's Audio Studios team. Stay tuned for your scheduled event.
keep awaited our celebrity guest for the evening. May I please request all of you to please come on to your respective seats.
Everybody seated, give me a loud cheer, please.
Woo-hoo!
Are we ready? Are we present? Are we good to go?
Yay, give us a loud cheer, come on.
Let's try that one more
guest
time.
is coming. You're going to have a very powerful session, and this is the kind of energy that we want them to welcome with. No, I think we are better than this, right? Come on.
We'll give them a countdown. 3, 2, 1, and let's get a cheer, please.
Woo! Thank you.
Everybody at the back, take your seats, and we'll get you included. On the count of 3, 3, 2, 1, let's go again. Woo! Louder. We don't want to keep a celebrity guest waiting. 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Woo!
There you go. Amazing.
There it is.
I hope you enjoyed your cup of coffee, your tea. Virtual attendees, welcome back. Hope you got your bio break. Quick show of hands. Did you guys check out the stalls? Anything particular you liked? The perfume. Ooh, I have to check this out, the perfume. Any other stalls that piqued your interest?
Oh, the EAP stall was really good.
And you got gifts. You made good use of your tea time. So for those of you who missed the stalls, like I mentioned, make sure that you catch them during the lunch break. Just a quick shout out here to everybody who's got the buzz and chatter going on social media. We really appreciate it and keep that going. Just a quick announcement before I take you straight into our next session. We want you all to be seated, please. When we bring in our guests, we don't want folks coming in front or crossing ahead. So we'd really appreciate if you maintain decorum. All right. Now taking you straight into the next session. The theme of this next session is the investment that changed everything. When someone believed in me. I love this theme because it's so real.
That's
right?
so true, yes.
We talk about 5-year plans and career strategy, but really, hand on heart, we're all just really trying to not mess up. And we're trying to just make it happen.
I think that's very true. All of us here can relate to this.
And everything changes when that someone, it could be a friend, it could be a mentor, it could be a manager, looks at you and says, I see you, and you're really good at what you're doing. So to moderate this fireside chat, I'd like to invite Aruna Daryanani, Director, Amazon MX Player. Aruna is democratizing access to quality entertainment for millions across India while building one of the country's fastest growing free streaming platform.
What we can do meanwhile they are coming, I want all of you to just close your eyes for 5 seconds. Let's get into the zone, people. Okay? Just close your eyes for 5 seconds. Remember that one person who was there with you in your toughest time. Try to remember them. Give a heartfelt gratitude to them. Look around the leaders who are sitting. Okay, by the way, how many leaders are sitting here in this room? Oh my God. Now that's called real demeaning. All of you here are leaders.
You're all
Why do you need a title for that, right? All of you are leaders here. Please look at each other, congratulate each other, appreciate each other. That is why we have these events. And after chai, come on, the Indians get kicked by having chai, right? You should have that Indian kick coming in after the tea break. And I think...
All right, on that note, I'm going to go again. To moderate this fireside chat, I'd like to invite Aruna Daryanani, Director, Amazon MX Player. And as a recap, Aruna is democratizing access to quality entertainment for millions across India while building one of the country's fastest growing free streaming platform. Welcome, Aruna. And now, inviting our esteemed panelists on stage, we've got Deepti Verma, VP People Experience and Technology, Amazon Stores India and Emerging Markets. Deepti probably never pretended to have it together because she actually does. So she's a passionate champion of diversity, inclusion, and women's leadership with 25 years of transformative HR experience. Welcome, Deepthi. And now, inviting our celebrity guest, Kalki Kekla. Kalki is an actor and a writer who's made a career out of being authentically herself, which is honestly the bravest thing anyone can do. Kalki rose to prominence with the film Dev D and earned critical acclaim for Margarita with a Straw, while also featuring in mainstream hits like Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara and Gully Boy. In 2025, Kalki headlined the web series Bhai on Amazon MX Player. Beyond films, Kalki is a writer and theatre artist known for a bold voice and individuality. Welcome, Kalki. Over to you, Aruna.
Hello, everybody. Good to be back here. Woo! I was here a few years back. It's great to see you all. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Welcome, everyone, and thank you, Kalki, Deepthi, for joining us today. I think before I start with the fireside chat, I want you to take a moment and think of that one person who believed in you fully before you believed in yourself, that person who's been your sponsor, your benefactor, and has stood by you no matter what. And today, in addition to celebrating these two extraordinary journeys of Kalki and Deepthi, we also want to celebrate that one person who has truly shaped the person that you are. On that note, let's begin. Kalki, congratulations on awesome success throughout your careers. I mean, I guess the audience really knows exactly what all movies, web series that you've been a part of. So really, really proud to have you here.
Thank you.
My first question for you would be, was there a moment in your life, big or small, when someone's belief changed your trajectory? Who was that person and how did it shape your journey?
I think there were many women, a lot of women. I'll start with one, Julia Roberts in a film called Hook. When I was 9 years old, I watched that movie. And Julia Roberts plays Tinkerbell. And until this point in my life, all fairies were very delicate creatures wearing beautiful little flowy clothes, long hair, garden fairies types. And then came this Tinkerbell. And she was a firefly from hell. She was breaking things. She was causing trouble everywhere. She had a short haircut, like boy cut. And I was like, oh, fairies can be like this too? It completely smashed this stereotype. So that was a big, change in my mindset. Oh, okay, we can change the way we think about certain characters. Then came my school teacher, Miss Ruby Mangaldas. She was actually a counselor in our school, and she was helping me decide what to do with my life after school, where to study. And she asked me what I loved to do, and I said I loved drama, and I kept, and she knew that. And she was like, yeah, you need to study drama, you need to go. And so she pulled out all these universities which had drama courses. And that was the first time it even occurred to me, because I didn't think it was viable. It didn't seem like further studies could be done in this. So she put that kida into my life. So I would say those were the first two that really impacted me.
Thank you, Kalki. Tinkerbell is inspiring. Yes, Deepthi, to you.
Yeah, firstly, really fortunate to, have this stage with you. I've heard so much about you, seen you so much, and I'm sure our audience here is so excited to have you here. So thank you for spending time with us today.
Thank you, Deepthi. It was great to meet you earlier.
Yeah, so I have not as interesting stories as Kalki, but I'll tell you that...
Oh, she does. You should ask her about her birth. Her birth story.
But I'll tell you this, that when I was at a very important juncture of my career, I was going through this where there was a very big role that was offered to me, and then I had my son who was about to be going to 12th. And I was in that crossroad whether I should pick this role up or not, because if I pick up this role, it means that I have to travel quite a lot and I'll have to be away from him. And I still remember that car ride where I told my son, I'm thinking of saying no because, your 12th is so important. And he said, he's trying to be a cricketer, and he said, if I get to play for the country, would you say no to me? I said, why would I say that? He says, then why are you saying no to yourself? Why aren't you being kind to yourself? And he said something to me that before you ask someone else to love you, you have to love yourself. You have to be kind to yourself. And so true to this theme where we say you give to get, I feel that give to gain, that when you give away some of the notions that you have, you gain so much. I gained a perspective, and he taught me so much in life. So that was on a personal front. On a professional front, I was not very great, like one of those who knew what they wanted. I changed some 10 thoughts about I can become a fashion designer, or I can become an air hostess, I can become an army officer, I can get into interior decoration, or I can be a dancer. And finally, I actually got into HR because at that time my father put me into an MBA college which was run by the army, and I thought that I'll get into that and then join the army. But there I met my so-called now husband, then I was dating him. So he took marketing and HR, and I took HR and marketing, and that's how I made my career. So I don't know whether it was something to do with that changed my perspective, but I thought be open to changes, and life has some good plans for you.
Thanks, Deepti. That's an interesting segue actually with you, Kalki. You've picked unique choices of roles. There is never like a straightforward pattern. Now, how has that helped you grow and evolve as an actor, as a person?
I think that I've always kind of tried to come back to theater because that's my base. And why theater for me is fulfilling is because, there are things you can do in theater which you can't do in cinema. You can really take the imagination places. I don't know, it's like, I remember watching this performance which was about a guy speaking about losing his brother who had drowned. And he's just smoking a cigarette on stage, and he's talking about his brother, and he's talking about their life growing up, this, that. And suddenly, his fingers started going like this. So he finished his cigarette, stubbed it, and then his fingers he was just talking about his brother and how, and then suddenly the lighting changed, and the fingers became the brother trying to swim back up. And it was so powerful, and I mean, very tear-jerking, obviously. But I just, these kind of, this magic that you find in theater is something that I just love. And I keep looking for it, and I have a theater company called Little Productions. We're now doing another play. We've been doing many. And it's not the most, financially productive field, but I keep coming back to it. The money I earn elsewhere, I invest into theater because of the satisfaction that I get, and also the kind of growth I get from it, the curiosity I get. And it definitely makes me feel like I can give back in my cinematic career. Whatever I pick up in theater, I keep putting back into cinema. So it's really like filling up your cup, and there's definitely something in giving and gaining.
No, that's really inspiring to know. I think it's super important to keep coming back to things that inspire you, and you can do phenomenally well across your career with that. To that point, Deepti, give to gain is actually our theme of this year's ElevateHER. What does that mean to you? And can you share any live experience about how you have seen it and what has been its impact?
So when I was coming here, I wrote something, and I'm going to read it out. But before that, I'm going to read out something that I read in a book written by Michelle Obama. And she writes, "When you have worked hard and done well and walked away through the doorway of opportunity, you do not slam it shut behind, you keep it open for others to follow." And it was such a powerful thing. And I still remember, there was this moment where I was being mentored by someone in the office. And for a minute felt that it opened up something for me, and I felt, why is it that there is this person only one? I wish I could clone this person and get everybody to be mentored, because we all go through our ups and downs and our careers are never, same. And then there was an idea that came that we will start something called as Power of 10 at Amazon, where we said we'll take 10 women, 10 leaders, 10 male leaders, 10 women leaders, and we'll get groups of 10 people each, like 100 people who will get mentored, and those ladies will in turn mentor others. And I realized that the power of just multiplying and making sure that everybody who needs that guidance at that moment has that is so important. But for me, what I felt was, when we are talking about letting go and gaining something, it is not just about at work. It is also about your own personality. So I wrote a small poem for all of you, 4 lines, but I thought I will read it out today to all of you. Give away your ego to gain love. Give away your time to learn new things. Give away your old thoughts to be liberated. Give away your hurt to heal. And give yourself love to gain confidence. And this is something that I've written from my heart, but I really wanted to dedicate it to all of you.
Thank you for that lovely poem. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah.
I think one area that our audiences wanted to know, like careers are evolving so rapidly and you have to keep adapting yourself to stay relevant. In such a situation, like how do you keep yourself energized and open to new possibilities?
I think maybe it sounds counterintuitive, but I disconnect. I think that I regularly get off social media to go back to reading, to writing, traveling, meeting people, connecting, community, nature even. Sometimes it's also, we forget that we're just cyclical creatures, right? We need to sleep 8 hours a day, or some of us less, but we have a certain cyclical nature, and we've stopped respecting that in this sort of modern, get everything at once, no matter if it's a weekend or in the middle of the night, we just want the results. And so I think it's important to rest, to recuperate, to refill your knowledge and your understanding of something. And, also there's this tendency to kind of have an opinion on anything and everything these days. And I think it's important in that respect to know yourself. It doesn't really matter so much what your take on AI is, what your take on this politics is, what it matters is what's your take on who you are. I think the more you sort of know yourself, the easier it is to answer your take on all of these other aspects. It comes from within. When it comes from external, it will always be wobbly. So that rejuvenation, that coming back to yourself, switching off, concentrating on something which is longer than 5 minutes is important.
That's well said. Deepti, how do you switch off and how do you stay energized?
Firstly, so many tips that I have thought that I will go and implement. So thank you for saying so, because I don't think so we all do this very well, where we disconnect from social media and so many things, because you're in a world which is constantly ticking and you want to be that, I hope I didn't miss out. So beautiful thought. Thank you so much for sharing that. Before I answer the question Aruna is asking, for a minute, please forget I'm the HR leader here. Anyone who's sitting here, and I will not remember your faces. If you had a choice to do something else and do another role, which is little different from what you're doing, how many of you would be interested? Raise your hand. So actually the data shows, maybe because I'm HR person, that's why not many people are raising their hand, but data shows that in any room, 60% of the people will raise hand to say, I want to do something different. But data also shows that there is a lot of anxiousness whenever there is something new that is coming in, that there is this insecurity that what will happen to my job. And for sure, there is AI coming in, people will think, will my job change? How will I go on with doing things? And one thing that I have learned in my 29 years that I've been working is that the only thing that's permanent is that your job is going to change. Otherwise, you will have to change the job. So be ready to, kind of embrace it as much as you can. because that's the only way in which you will progress. And once you progress, you'll make way for others to follow that. That's been my mantra. How do I stay excited about what I do? I think I work with very intelligent people, very committed people who keeps me on my toes, little bit too much on my toes, but that is what makes the job most interesting.
Deepti, extending on what you just said, you have had a long and successful career and you have the opportunity to open doors for others. In your perspective, what does give to gain actually mean?
I think what Kalki was saying was so good, that basically be authentic to yourself and bring your authentic self there, and do not worry too much about what the world is thinking about you. I'll give you one small anecdote which has always stayed with me. I was called for a panel discussion at Delhi once, and there was 3 men and there was me, one lady who was there, and as soon as I entered that room, that moderator, she was not as kind as you, told me, "Oh, you haven't set your hair." And I got so pissed because the 3 men were bald and she didn't say anything to them, and she was telling me, "You have not set your hair." And I felt it is my choice whether I set or not. It's not that there is anything wrong in setting. I do set my hair. But just because it is expected out of me is not something that I would want to do. And that day I felt that give it back to the people who is, speaking to you like this to gain what is most authentic for me. So I gave it back to her. I said, you've called me here for what I speak or how I look. And while we've given perspective about opening doors for others, and I think everybody knows that, but I think most important is do not let people walk all over you. It's important to give it back to them to gain what you want to gain.
That's a very powerful message. Kalki, what does give to gain mean in your world?
I think I've touched upon it, but I just think the more you give, the more you give to a different kind of stream than what you are used to, the more you're going to learn, right? So, for example, I do this BBC podcast, My Indian Life, where I need to interview people who are completely from different walks of life, environmentalist, hockey, female hockey competition, person, different walks of life. So when I have to find out about these things, nanotech, I have to read up a lot about it. And of course, my knowledge on it is very limited, but I find that, I take back something from these and I use them in my writing or in my work in some way or the other. Even just yesterday, I'll give you an example. I'm right now making a play. And in this play, it's a lot about the role of patriarchy, motherhood, all of these subjects, which obviously I'm exploring for obvious reasons, being a mother and working. So I'm making this play with 5 women. And we were looking for a lullaby. And there was this lullaby we found, and it was in Mongolian. And no matter where we looked, we could not find the translation of this lullaby. There were just no translations online, and even on the YouTube comments, we were searching, no translation. And then I happened to be going for an event for ADAPT, which is my NGO that I work with all disabled, abled people together. And they're having a session at the moment with invitees from all over the world, women from all over the world who work in disability in their countries. So they're having like an exchange program, teaching program, part of which was Margarita with a Straw screening and speaking to me. And in there was a Mongolian lady. So I literally got my answer because I went to work for my NGO, and she was there. We met, and she's like, "I'm a big fan." She took a selfie and all that after we finished our session. And I was like, you know what? There's this Mongolian lullaby. I wonder if you could translate it for me. She said, "Of course." So you don't realize where your answers are going to come from. And I think being open to answers coming from unusual places happens when you tap into community, when you do volunteer work, when you start, looking at other women in different fields, and maybe, seeing overlaps in some of your struggles. That's what's going to, help you.
Sweet. That's beautiful. And that I think that will stay with the rest of the audiences as well today. We are moving to the rapid fire round. We love coffee with Karan, so of course we will have the rapid fire round. And let's just say the first thing that comes to your head. Deepti, we'll start with you. One woman that has shaped your life.
Mostly I say mother, but today I'll say mother-in-law. I still remember that when I was about to get married, my mother said, mother's loss everybody can see, mother-in-law's loss not everybody can see. The son is obviously, going to be all gaga over the bride. And that day she said, make your mother-in-law your best friend and you will never have to look back. So I think she's the one who's actually supported me when I keep going on these travels 10 days a month. And she's the one who puts her foot down. No one will say anything to Deepti. Let her be what she has to be. So I feel I owe a big one to her. Of course, I owe a lot to my mother too, but today dedication is for my mother-in-law.
Thanks to all mothers and mother-in-laws everywhere. Kalki, thank you.
I think the woman, or I'll say the girl who shaped me the most is my daughter, both literally. I mean, 2 inches on the hips to be exact. She shaped me physically, but she's also shaped me figuratively because when you have a daughter, of course, you have all the anxieties of how she's going to grow up in this world that's patriarchal. But you start to become conscious of what you were as a child yourself, and you start to become much more aware of what choices you're making for yourself because you're making them for your daughter. You're like, why am I prioritizing that for my daughter when I didn't prioritize it for myself? So that consciousness is coming back into me thanks to her.
Kalki, on that note, what would you teach your daughter about success and failure?
They're the 2 sides of the same coin, it's a constant up and down. I think as you get older in life, you really realize that the hardships get more and more. And then what actually becomes valuable is your connection with others. And so I think, something that could be seen as a failure to some might be a gain for you because you find a new path. So I always think both should be taken with a pinch of salt. Don't take your successes or your failures too seriously. Just keep seeing it as something that's going to keep happening in your life.
That's well said.
Very nice. Yeah. Excellent.
Deepti, if you were to go back in time, what would you advise the younger Deepti today?
Oh, I would tell the younger Deepti to sleep more, eat more, enjoy life to the fullest, make as many mistakes as you can because that's the best way to kind of, gain perspective. In fact, my WhatsApp status says that, good judgment comes from bad decisions and, bad decisions only help you to gain perspective. So I think live life to the fullest. In fact, our Amazon tagline is the best. Work hard, have fun, and make history. So just have fun. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So enjoy the journey as much as you can.
Nice. Kalki, what would you advise a younger Kalki?
Oh, a younger Kalki, I would say, definitely relax. It's okay. Things are going to change. And also that your differences, when I was younger, I think I was always conscious about being different, about not fitting in. And I think that's actually what's made me stand out and what's given me an edge in my career. So I would just say, hold on to those differences. Yeah.
We are now at the end of the fireside chat. Deepti, what would be your message to the audiences on the opportunity on this day of Women's Day?
Yeah, so I just want to tell this that a lot of times, we judge a person by what we are seeing. For example, if in a meeting there is a person speaking versus a person not speaking, do not stereotype things. And I'll tell you, a lot of times people have talked about that diversity is about inviting a person and inclusion is asking a person to dance. But I think change that perspective, For me, I feel it is important to even ask that person if they are comfortable to come to a party, leave alone dance. Don't take it for granted that everybody will be comfortable with everything. So my only suggestion to all of you would be that there are a lot of people, both men and women, who are at a stage where they are wanting someone to help them to break even, to make it big. Be that catalyst, and when you can help someone, you will help yourself.
Kalki, any final thoughts for our audience?
Final thoughts. I just thought I'll share a nice little theater story that we share often about presence. Because I think one of the biggest diseases of modern times is the lack of presence. We're always doing 300 things at the same time. We're thinking about the future, worrying about it. We're regretting the past. We're, on our phones choosing a filter. We're not fully watching the concert, not fully watching the sunset. We are, in so many ways not present. And so there's this lovely theater story where there's an actor, and he's struggling for many years. And he has a roommate who's a successful actor in a play. And they're doing some, fancy Shakespeare-type play, and his roommate is playing a big role in that. And one day his roommate comes home and says, hey, guess what? One of the actors fell sick, so there's an opening. It's a small role, but it's a good chance for you. This is a big director. It's a big production. So why don't you come? This actor is like really happy. He's like, oh my God, this is my chance. And he rushes to the theater and he meets the director. Thank you so much, sir, for this big offer. And the director's like, okay, give him his line. And he says, this is your line. You come in Act 4, Scene 2. Your line is, hark, is that a cannon I hear? He's like, okay, hark. Is that a cannon I hear? He goes backstage and he starts to warm up. Ha, 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 hark! Ha, 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 hark! Hark! And he's preparing. Now the show has started. He has to be quiet. So in his head, he's going, hark, is that a cannon I hear? Hark, is that a cannon I hear? Hark, is that a cannon I hear? And now he's putting on his makeup. Hark, is that a cannon I hear? He's putting on his jacket. He's putting on his costume. Hark, is that a cannon I hear? Hark, is that a cannon I hear? Now it is almost time for him to step on stage. He's just saying it in his head, saying it again. Hark, is that a cannon I hear? And then the assistant pushes him onto stage, and it's time for him to say his line. He's waiting, and all of a sudden he hears a big boom, and he goes, what the hell was that? Oh, hark, is that a cannon I hear? So, you are so prepping for this big opportunity, this big moment in your life. And when the moment comes, you miss it because you didn't hear the cannon. You didn't hear the thing. So just the practice of presence is all the time. It's listening, it's reacting, it's being aware of who else is in the room, being aware of what else is around us. So it's a really valuable thing, and I would just leave you with that.
Thank you for that wonderful oration. I think all of us are going to take back this message. Hark is the cannon that I hear.
Yeah.
I think my big takeaways for today, Deepti, be true to yourself. Don't let anyone walk over you, but give up your ego, give up the hurt, and you can really liberate yourself. Kalki, thank you for staying true to the Tinkerbell story that inspired you, and thank you for continuing to entertain us.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Aruna, for moderating that amazing panel discussion. Deepti, if there's anything I've taken away, it's to give back without any guilt. Yes. I'll do that next time. And Kalki, all the best. We're really eagerly waiting for your play to release. And hopefully we have translation support for the Mongolian lullaby. As a special token of appreciation, may I please invite Sumedha Bakshi. And ladies, what's a successful event without a selfie? So since I have you all on stage, I'd request the audience to remain seated. We'll try and get all of you in a selfie. We'll try our best to get you all in. Maybe you can get your hands up. Remain seated though. Get your hands up. Audience, a cheer, please. Thank you, ladies.
Should I stop? Should I stop? Go on. Deepti knows. Wonderful talk, right? Lots of acting, lots of poetry, good personal life statements. So I'm pretty sure after that we have one more Power Pack session for you. Very wonderful news which Amazon has done. For that, I would like to invite Deepti Verma back onto the stage, please, because we have a very special moment to share today. And, oh wait, I was actually prepared for this one. Because what's an Air Force officer without an aviator? Woohoo! Thank you. So it gives me immense pride to be here to witness a collaboration with an institution that has built resilience long before resilience was a leadership buzz. So I invite Deepti Verma onto the stage to take us through wonderful news today. Thank you so much.
Before I start, I would like to invite Mrs. Gera here. Chairperson, Family Welfare Organization, and Swarnim Sinha from Amazon Sellers team, if you could please join. Welcome, ma'am. Very happy to have you here. Hi. Okay, so, before I start about making an announcement, I think I keep telling stories because I have a son, so I taught him all the stories, so I keep speaking about it. So here is one more story. I'm a daughter of an army officer, and wherever my father used to get posted, my mother was picking up some of these jobs in school, but she never had a career because she was wanting to support him in all the postings that he had had. And I used to always see that not only my mom, but there were all these wives of and spouses of armed forces people who were so talented, but they actually chose to sacrifice their career because they wanted to support their husbands. And that time I had decided that when I grow up, I'm going to do something for them. So when I joined Amazon, I started this program called Rekindle, where we were hiring women who had taken a break in their careers to come back and, start their career. Just like my mom did at the age of 40, she started her career as a school teacher in a government school at 40, and by the time she retired, she was a vice principal. But even when we were trying to hire people in Rekindle, we could only hire few hundreds. We couldn't, touch a lot of people. And that's when we started to think, what can we do differently in order for us to, go and touch each and every woman who's in different pin codes across India. And that's when we started thinking about having a tie-up where, we get to all the women of armed forces, wives of spouses, where we tie up and bring them as part of Amazon Saheli program and make them sellers for Amazon. So very happy that an MOU have been signed, and I'm really indebted to the armed forces for doing so. It is not just a good thing for us, it is the most important business proposition that we are doing. Because imagine that today Amazon can serve like 99.9 pin codes across India. And imagine if all the women can actually join us and be seller and be independent and have a career and, make sure that all the 99.9% pin codes have choices of all the sellers. So it's a big one. I just want to thank the armed forces and thank you, ma'am, for being here today to do this. We also have a short video, and I would love you all to see that video, and then we'll go ahead and make a few other announcements. So with that, let's see the video, please. Thank you so much, and thank you to Mrs. Dwivedi. You would have seen her in the video. She's the president for the Army Women Welfare Association. She's not present here, but we have her. So thank you so much, ma'am, once again. We also would like to do a, yeah.
She'll be at the center.
Ma'am, please come. We'll take one more picture with him. Thank you. I also have a special guest to invite today. Her name is Major Retired Neha Singhora, and the reason that I'm calling here is she's a very special entrepreneur because she actually moved from being in an olive dress uniform to having green brand, which is, she's actually having a brand which talks about purity, natural living, and belief that all home deserve the best. So I would request her to please come on stage, share her insights with us, and take it forward from there. Thank you, ma'am, for joining us today.
When the going gets tough, the tough gets going. Well, this is the quote I have grown up with. The going for me indeed had been tough, but right now in front of you, you see the girl who's tough and who always gets going. Jai Hind and a very good afternoon to you all. I am Major Neha, a retired army veteran and now proud owner of my herbal brand, Enlushed. Apart from having the tag of being an army officer myself, I'm also married to an army officer and a proud army wife as well. I am a postgrad in biotechnology and an MBA from BITS Pilani and business certification from IIM Bangalore. My transitioning from being an army officer to the outside world wasn't very easy. The biggest challenge was breaking the myth. The myth that army officers post-retirement are left with three options majorly: security role, HR role, admin role. Well, I said no to either of these. We've all heard that behind every successful man, there is a woman. Well, behind this successful woman here is my man, my husband, who once told me that, Neha, if you can run a company of troops, you very well can run the company. And then was the time to take that big leap, the big giant leap of faith to believe in myself, and Enlashed, my brand was born, which aims to rekindle the age-old practice of healing with herbs. We all know that India has been epicenter for herbal healing, and Ayurveda has been practiced since ages. What if I told you that essential oils can actually heal? What if I told you that essential oils can get your stress level down, can get your anxiety down, or can lower down your BP level? Or maybe essential oils can help you protect your clothes from infestation. But the market was completely flooded with so many companies selling essential oils. Then what to do? Then came the big solution. Enlashed is manufacturing the daily basic need stuff and incorporating essential oils into it. So next time, whenever you want to have the herbal healing of essential oils, you just have to open your wardrobe to sniff the wax wardrobe fresheners kept there. Or maybe when you're moving into your bathroom, you can have the Enlashed bathroom fresheners. Or when you're relaxing in your room, you can just diffuse the essential oils. When we studied the market, we also realized a fact that half of the population actually does not know how to use essential oils for healing. And the other half who knows about it doesn't have time to do that. That is how we have started manufacturing these products. So next time, if you don't have time for using essential oils, then let Enlashed passively keep healing you. Also, after the product was ready, now came the big question. Market kahan hai? Where is the customer? Here is when Amazon pitches in. Seamless onboarding, perfect coordination, back-end support, seller support given to us, and right audience or right customer for the right product. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude and thank you to my organization, my fraternity, and Amazon for getting onboarded with this collaboration, which is going to help sellers like me taste the big waters. Thank you so much indeed to the entire team for coming up with the collaboration. And Amazon, trust me, out there in our fraternity, there is so much of potential lying, which is yet to be unleashed. And I'm sure with such a collaboration, this is definitely going to come forward. At the end, I would just like to say that uniform or no uniform, the mission never ends. It only changes shape. For me, it changed from being from olive green to herbal greens. Thank you so much, and Jai Hind.
Thank you so much. So inspiring and very, very from the heart. We have one more video of Mrs. Dwivedi here, which is, she couldn't be here with us, but would love to see this video from her for all of us.
It is a matter of great pride to formalize the partnership between Army Women's Welfare Association, AWA, and Amazon Saheli. AWA has consistently empowered Veer Naris, widows, and spouses of serving personnel by nurturing their skills and entrepreneur spirit. Through this MOU, their talent will gain access to a national digital marketplace backed by structured training and professional guidance. This collaboration goes beyond commerce. It builds confidence, fosters self-reliance, and creates sustainable livelihood opportunities, regardless of location. We sincerely thank Amazon for partnering with AWA in this mission of inclusive empowerment and look forward to many inspiring success stories ahead. Best wishes. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you all. Thank you, ma'am. And over to
We have a reveal of the storefront, so we would request ma'am to please use the clicker. This is the our Amazon Saheli storefront. We already have onboarded 15 plus entrepreneurs on the storefront. Ma'am, please. Let's give it a big round of applause.
Can I request all the AVA team members to please come and join us on the stage? And may I also request Amazon team to join us on the stage? May I request our team who's put this whole thing together to please also join on stage? Come here. There is space. Come this side. Please come. Robbins. Thank you all. Please give them a big round of applause. Thank you so much.
May I please request Sai Radhakrishnan to come on stage and please honor Mum with our sweet token of appreciation.
You know, I just realized we've been having a tremendous morning, but we haven't really thanked everybody who was behind all of this, right? The magicians who truly made it happen. We showed up, the coffee was there, the registration worked, stage looked beautiful, you showed up, but none of this is accidental. Someone definitely lost sleep over this. I'm fairly certain several people lost sleep over this. There were one too many WhatsApp crises that occurred. I know Vibhuti and I were caught up in one. So let's take a moment to thank all the organizers, the tech team, the volunteers, literally everybody who made today a success. On that note, I'd like to welcome Deepa Koka, Amazon Experience and Upskilling Leader, APAC Mia, and one of the driving forces behind ElevateHER.
Thank you, everyone. How's the Josh? I'm still reeling from the effect of all the sessions and really glad and grateful to be part of this event. As we come to the close of Amazon Elevate 2026, I want to take a moment not just to summarize what happened today, but also to reflect on what it truly means for me and for us. Because today wasn't just an event. Over years, we are conscious that we shouldn't just be doing events, but we should also look at what is the long-term impact of that event. We should look at what is the experience that we should continue to amplify in our roles after the event. It's a good reminder and validation that women, when they have access, opportunity, and belief, they not only just grow, they just multiply the impact. My team is involved deeply in planning this event, but when I was asked to close this today, I thought, what is it that I wanted to leave the room myself with? It is not about a data point, a statistic, or a program, but we wanted to share a snippet of the complete experience that our workplace Amazon provides for each of us. the experience of being in a room where people are genuinely interested in each other and they're really rooting for each other to create a workplace that incrementally becomes culturally viable in a way that we can be ourselves is what has been our journey. Personally, today is a really special day for me. I come from an army background. I'm the only non-army person in my family. My mother was a doctor and a colonel, and in a generation where women were very rare both in medicine as well as in army. My dad was in the EME, an engineer, and my brother's a para-commando. And what my lived experience has been that when you get the support and opportunity, women can just do wonders. And I've seen my mother actually manage both work and career beautifully, but with the help of a community, the community and camaraderie that you typically see in an army community. I saw that spirit present in every session that was called out today. This morning, Gitanjali reminded us of something very powerful, that investing in women is not just symbolic, but it is really strategic. And real change doesn't come from moments, but it comes when you take those moments and put them in systems and processes so that the outcome by default is powerful. The idea that's an idea that I stay passionately about how do you create long-term impact, how do you make sure that you inbuilt it into the systems and processes. During the fireside chat, we also heard Deepti and Kalki speak about something equally powerful, which is the impact of belief, which is the impact of making sure that you are comfortable in your skin and you give it back to others if they are crossing the line and coming in the way of being your authentic selves. I think often our lives and trajectory change when someone really believes in you. Most of you can resonate and relate to that. Oftentimes in my career, I think others have believed a lot in me more than I've believed in myself. You can relate to a mentor who's encouraged us, a leader who trusted us, and to a colleague and leaders or managers who spoke more about us when we are not in the room. Those moments really matter. I do want to call out that in our roles at Amazon, I think each of us is empowered and powerful enough to create that meaningful pathway for someone around us, to give and to make sure that we gain in return and someone else gains in return. Today's panel also reminded us about sustainable success is not about pushing harder, it is about building smarter. How do you make sure that you coexist life and career? I think that was a really important message that I took away. And one of the most meaningful sessions was, of course, how did Amazon tie with the Army Women Welfare Association's partnership? This is really powerful because we focus a lot on workplace inclusion. And this is a great example of how, as Amazon, we are building pathways and making an impact in the external communities as well. For me personally, given my army background, I have seen growing up as a child many casualties where families have been displaced, emotionally, physically, financially. And this feels like a small way that we can give back to the service that has been provided by army personnel, and also a really meaningful way in making sure that while they are not in big cities, while they are in smaller, different regions, because we are able to service in different PIN codes, we are able to provide an opportunity for them to be entrepreneurs on our platform. This is something that Amazon believes in deeply, making a difference in employees, communities, and customers. I do want to call out the programs that we have which help enable and support our workplace. Through Amazon Future Engineer, we are opening pathways for STEM, for young girls who want to pick up technical stream. Through Women Leadership Program, we are providing an opportunity for the next generation of women leaders. We also recognize that careers are not linear, especially when we look at the life cycle of women. So we do have programs like Rekindle and mentorship, where women can take breaks and come back to the workforce with confidence. With Amazon Saheli, we are going way beyond that and making an impact in the communities. I do want to call out and thank Gitanjali Bhutani and also Lorna. They are our India leadership team leaders for the pillar of gender. I want to thank Payal Gupta and to our panelists Anuradha Agarwal, Ishita Sawant and Maulika Sharma for a conversation that was thoughtful in terms of how do you make sure you coexist with career and the life's choices. Of course, a huge applaud and thanks to Dipti Verma, who's our towering leader, and Kalki for a conversation that is going to stay for us beyond this room and for some time. Special thanks to Mrs. Sunita Dwivedi and Army Welfare Association for partnering with us. I would like to thank the women at Amazon India team for all the volunteering work in making this come alive. And I also want to thank and remind us that to put an event like this, it takes lots of weeks and months of planning. So I do want to call the core team, which has spent many sleepless nights and a lot of hardships to make this event come alive. Can I request the core team to come on stage, please? A huge round of applause, please, for the core team. They are the ones who really made this happen. And this is outside their day jobs in terms of volunteering and making sure this event is successful. A huge round of applause for our wonderful MCs who just made it so lively and alive for us. Picture. I do want to thank our seller team for the AVA Association and Sumedha, who's played a really key role in making that come alive, along with other members from different functions. And this is just the start of what we look forward to in the coming quarters and years. With this, we bring the event to a close. We will have sessions around mentoring, so please move on to that section. Thank you so much. Do you want to?
Thank you so much, Deepa. And just for all our virtual attendees, we're now going to stop the live stream. Thank you so much for being active participants and for joining us today. Today we celebrated strength and we normalized ambition. I want to thank all of you for bringing your energy in the room, and let's give a round of applause to all of you in the room, everyone attending in person. Thank you so much. We will break for lunch now. We have a mentoring session.
Thanks for watching. 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 Thanks for watching.